All right, I think we're back, boys.
Oh yeah, Brady's asking.
Back.
Hang on. Back?
I think we're back.
All right, this is good.
I think we're back.
All right, cool.
So I think something like happened outside of my house because those lights went down.
Gone.
Hold on, I'm gonna see if we can turn it back on. Let's try it. Let's see if this works.
Check.
We got a spotty connection right now. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, and I don't think this is happening because of anything in my house. We're not running anything special.
No.
Everything looks okay again.
Check. We can hear each other. All right.
I think we're good. Republic. We're back.
Comment if you can hear us and see us and all that shit.
Yeah, comment and chat. Gonna get rid of this monitor here. Yep. I'll get rid of that one too, because that's from the old one. All right, sorry guys.
We're back.
Sorry about
For
that.
once, it wasn't my fault.
Acts of God.
Now my fucking
Jared, it's always your fault.
now my now my chat commenter's not working. Great. Fucking fantastic.
Technology. It's
Son
fine.
of a bitch.
Can you close it and open it up again?
I might be able
Man,
to.
I feel like, so we started talking about anxiety. We talked about depression.
That's what my curiosity is like, okay, so is there a specific trigger, like an event that like causes you to have anxiety, or is it something you always feel your whole life that just like you start to understand better and better? No?
Not for me, anyways.
Okay, that's what I'm curious about, because I don't know. I might fucking like actually have real anxiety.
I am
like for all I know, I'm living with it all the time, and I don't understand that.
I don't understand it.
And when it gets really bad is the only time I actually notice it. It could be that, or it could just be something triggered it, and that's it. So, and then it leaves the day after, because that's usually how it is for me. I don't. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about it because you could have like 10 people in the room and they could all give you a fucking different definition of the damn thing.
Jeremy, this isn't the pantsless version of the podcast.
Is the comments working?
This is yeah, we're back. No, something happened. Like I don't know if fucking there is what probably happened. The most realistic answer is that somebody in the area is shooting off fireworks and they hit the transformer and it just caused a quick little dim, because literally some of the lights shut down and then it caused our internet to go down for a second, but it quickly rebooted. We're back now.
We're back in action.
Just as everyone's starting to rejoin us.
We're back! Initiate the emergency evacuation protocol and launch the missiles.
Sorry, I had to do it.
You're fine, dude.
Can I bum one more cigarette?
Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to get this chat working again, because you just told me, you're like, do you have to reboot it? And I was like, fuck, you might be right, dude. Might be the easiest thing to do.
The technician
so
thing.
The podcast might even be a little bit glitchy again, but that's just because I gotta do the stuff that I usually do before the podcast during the podcast to reboot. And unfortunately, we're going to have it in 2 parts again. So on audio, I'm going to have to actually sandwich this together. There we go, baby. Now I bet you this will work.
Sandwich it, meaning the audio is going to be separate from the video?
So on audio, so is what I do is basically I usually just download the episode from YouTube after we do it live like this. And then we rip the audio from it and I upload the audio to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So there's an audio version of the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this time I realize I don't have to continue to upload a part 1 and a part 2. Like it'll end up on YouTube. I can just rip the audio, slap them together, upload it. It'll still be one part. But I had to do that with Jeremy's too, because something happened in like the first 30 minutes. Fucking weird, dude.
Well, we made it almost an hour before that.
Wow. And last time I was down here with him, it was 3 hours.
Yeah, dude. Like we do these for a minute, dude. Because honestly, the first hour is no matter how good it starts, which this one started off great, right? We were already in a podcast before it even started.
Yeah. Talking about some shit.
But that's still the warm up. But that's still the warm up. Like there's a chemistry. Like you got to figure out a rhythm of like who talks when and oh this guy doesn't like just jump in. We got to give him space to talk. Or this guy will keep going until someone shuts him up. That kind of shit, right? You just naturally figure that out.
Really?
The second hour starts to get a little better.
That's true.
And it's that third hour. It's the third hour. And then there's also sometimes the guy where if you comment at all, he'll just stop talking. So then the other guests will do all the talking. Yeah. So it's like you got to remind that guy, hey man, no, just keep talking. When we jump in, just don't stop and finish your fucking point. But the third hour is usually where we get to the really good shit. So I'm excited, man.
It took us a while to get to the deep end last time. This time I feel like we just
jumped right in
over there.
Yeah, why fiddle faddle? We don't need foreplay here.
I think
that's not what the fans want.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
So I think we had a good conversation around anxiety, depression,
and you do think it is related to you can develop it because of an event.
Yeah.
So can you heal it? Because you can heal depression depending on the level of severity you have.
I'm going to answer that question. I don't think it's an individual event necessarily. I think an individual event can be pretty stressful and then cause you anxiety. But I also think that the continuous amounts of that same trauma over and over again can actually leave more of a harming, lasting experience down the road.
So I would say maybe...
I mean,
anxiety is a precursor.
Like, I think
to
anxiety,
depression.
Right? I think anxiety is a precursor, or depression is a precursor to the anxiety. But,
okay, or vice versa then.
But I think it's individualized.
Do you think it can go both ways?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Sure.
As much as we don't even
Jerry,
understand about this shit, I think
Jerry, be careful. You're bumping that guitar. No, so really far nice. So good.
Really nice guitar.
But if you bump it really hard, it'll.
Crash
even though it's a Hercules and it's ripped in there, it'll still. I've seen them fall.
Yeah,
I've seen them fall.
I think it can happen both ways.
Okay, that's what I'm curious about because, like, my level of understanding of anxiety, especially when I read about it, my level of understanding of anxiety is like, it's just so vague. Versus depression, it's like, here's a list of symptoms, here's a list of things you're probably not doing. Yeah. And if you do these things, these first list of things will like go away. And the crazy thing is depression and the things of that are directly tied to grief. Right? So it's like, you should only feel this way when somebody dies.
I'm going to pause you for a second. Or the lack of grieving.
You mean as opposed to when you,
like a lack
you
of
actually
coping?
need it?
Dude, some people don't grieve. Some people don't, man, and they hold on to that stuff.
What do you think about people that say, well, I grieve in my own way?
I know I did.
And they don't grieve the way you would actually consider grieving.
I buy into that. I do agree with that. People grieve in their own ways.
I agree.
So not everybody's going to grieve the way I grieve.
But I know.
So don't give me shit about grieving the way you grieve.
Once again, I'm not going to place my...
No, I agree with that.
I'm not going to place my stuff upon you. I'm specifically talking from my experiences, what has done to make me whole, right? So I know for me, I don't allow space to grieve. I don't. I was terrible at it. I never accepted the fact because those are negative emotions and negative things that I need to work through. And I hated that. I hated it. The minute that I found myself in a place and said, dude, you need to cry. You need to go find whatever that space is.
Now, luckily...
To be alone.
Luckily, I was raised in an environment where I was allowed to cry.
To be alone. I was not. I would get hit if I cried.
Yeah, luckily I wasn't there.
No, dude. So I think for me,
That's going to sculpt two very different human beings.
that sculpts so many different trauma moments, right?
But in the moment, I was never allowed to process. It was like, no, you can cry later. Like, for real. Like,
Right.
you can cry later, and we'll talk about it, and we'll get through it, but not now. Man up, do your fucking job, and we'll get there later.
Damn.
That was the
I think that
lifestyle I
might be
was raised up in.
detrimental, though.
Like,
Because
we'll go through all the therapy later, but right now, we got shit to do. That was the world I grew up in.
what does your soul want to do right now?
I think for me,
Grieve, right?
For
or
me,
deal with
right.
it when
For
it
me,
happens.
Right,
Right?
but that is also
Like,
life. Like
right
right now,
now-
I just want to
yeah,
sit here
true,
and cry
true,
about
true.
my dad, but I still got to mow the lawn. I still got to mow his lawns.
Yeah, man.
I still got to fucking make sure his lawn gets mowed or watered. I still got to fucking make sure I handle all my shit. I got remodels. I still have shit to do. So, like, okay, I got to man up from 8 to 4, but I don't have a podcast tonight, so I can grieve later. So from 4 till midnight, I'll let me do my thing, because you can't just blow all this shit off, because then all of a sudden the city finds you because you didn't mow. You see what I'm like? There's consequences to your actions.
Understandable, but you're seeing the rabbit hole that human beings have got. Put themselves.
And I'm not arguing right or wrong. This is just the environment and the mindset I have. Like, no, we'll give time for healthy healing. We'll give time for coping and processing, but right now we still got to get shit done. And I'm not even saying what I grew up in is unhealthy. Because compared to some other people I know, I deal with this kind of shit way better. So I think maybe some people need more of what I have.
Yes.
But if what you just said, if the wrong person is raised in the environment I have, it could actually make things worse and make it more detrimental for them. Which goes back to what you and I were mentioning about like how my coach did shit. It was like, I get it, and I'll remember to stop yelling at you in front of everybody in the middle of a game. And I'm sorry I did that yesterday, but I also did what I thought I needed to do to get you to make the play next time. And now we'll make a correction going forward.
I think it's circumstantial.
It's totally circumstantial. That's what I'm getting at.
With every individual, we're not going to. There's no right answer or wrong answer.
That's what makes a great sports coach. And that's what makes a great band member is understanding. I can tell a Jamal. You used to be in a band with Jamal.
Okay.
You used to be in a band with Jamal.
No.
Weren't you all in Hysteria together?
No.
Oh, this you weren't in Hysteria.
No.
Yeah, this is the first time.
God, for some reason, I thought you were in that band.
No.
Okay, regardless, but you were in a band with Jamal, so I can tell. Jamal.
Speaking of that, I brought a CD for you, man.
Dope.
From
Give
the
it to
old
me.
Shit.
Give it to me. The Hysteria shit. I was giving Jamal shit because he never brought me a CD.
Coming at
so
Jamal?
I got the Daybreak.
Because he's been on the podcast a lot,
and the Hysteria.
He's been on the podcast a lot.
I can't remember if you ever had.
And
his personality is very well established. So here's the shtick, right?
Love Jamal.
So I can tell Jamal, listen, motherfucker, and then ... make my point. However, I have to understand he's either going to immediately go, okay, you're right, or he's going to come at me with more hostility.
He's like, look,
is what I'm not going to do.
I got this.
Is what I know I'm not going to do with Jamal is shut him down emotionally. I'm not going to clam him up. Whereas if I were to say that to somebody else, listen, motherfucker, ... even if I'm 100% wrong, I might have just made that person go into a shell and never have the balls or the guts to speak their voice and prove me wrong. And this, what's my point? This is what makes a great coach. Is sometimes you got to go, listen, motherfucker, ... And other times it's, listen, kid, or listen, son. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what makes a great leader and a great coach is understanding how to communicate differently with those different people in different situations. Right. Because sometimes the same guy who doesn't want to listen, motherfucker, needs a listen, motherfucker. You see what I'm saying?
Here's what I'll tell you.
You don't always know what you want or need.
Here's what
that's
I'll tell
also
you.
A great leader, like a good parent.
Hang on a second.
You want to be coddled, but
we're talking sports analogies right now, right?
I just used that one for a brief moment, but we could use parenting analogies.
No. I'm going to use the Bulls, right?
Phil Jackson, sure.
Phil Jackson was one of the best coaches in sports history.
Yep.
Here's why.
For many different reasons.
Reasons.
But I think you're going to go with one reason.
He would coach Michael Jordan way different than he would coach Scottie Pippen, right?
100%.
Like, I think it's important for us as people. That's what makes great leaders. That's what makes great coaches.
And to take that one step further, like some K2, K3, K4 level thinking,
sure,
is Phil Jackson also understood that he needed to coach Pippen a certain way because of the way Jordan drove him.
Right.
But he needed to coach Rodman not just a different way because Rodman's Rodman.
Hang on a second.
But because also Jordan pushed Rodman in a different way.
We got to talk about this for a second.
You see what I'm getting at here?
Here's what.
Like, you already have the asshole of Jordan.
Already have it.
So you two don't need an asshole.
You don't need to.
But this guy over here who thinks he's a bad motherfucker, no. He needs two assholes. He needs Jordan, and he needs a coach who's going to back Jordan up.
Right.
So he gets the same spiel from two different angles, and he goes, okay, maybe those guys are right.
There are fucking people that I work with
what I'm getting
with that fucking mentality.
Listen though. Here's what
they need two or three people to say the same thing before they buy in.
They don't believe it.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to listen to this one
because everyone's out to get him, right?
Yeah, because
they come into
an
talking
environment
about right now, everyone's out to get those people.
Yeah,
that's their mindset. Everyone's out to
get
come
in with that
so
mindset.
It takes 2, 3, 4 people before they finally go, oh
shit, it's real.
It's real.
But what Phil Jackson did brilliantly.
We had to rip there for a minute.
No, I love it.
I triggered Jerry for it. He's like, I work with those sons of bitches.
Son of a bitch.
Listen.
Listen. Bullshit.
Here's what was great about Phil Jackson is when it came to Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. When it came to Dennis
Scottie
Rodman
Pippen.
or Scottie Pippen, right?
Or Steve Kerr.
Or any of them.
Any of them.
Phil
I remember this.
Phil fucking knew, dude.
I cringe when I listen to it. So,
dude, Phil knew. Hey, I know these people are playing this role, so you know what he did? I'm going to speak to Dennis Rodman specifically. Phil said he's just going to go to Vegas for a while. He's probably going to party for a whole weekend. Yeah. We're not going to hear from him.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, probably won't show up to practice on Monday because he's recovering from the situation that he just went through for 3 days.
Yep.
So,
so Michael Jordan had to go get him himself.
Jordan would go get him. Pippen would be like this really...
This only happened once. You're making it sound like it happened on a regular basis. This happened once.
It happened once, but that's the one time we heard about. A person is a person who's a person. Your personality who is...
I don't know, man.
Like...
People change,
dude.
Not so quickly. Though.
Not so quickly.
That's what you guys are trying to say.
Not in 2 years.
You don't want to say it, but you're trying to say not Dennis Rodman. You're trying to say people. Okay, Jared. Yes, people change, but Dennis Rodman doesn't change. Dennis Rodman is still Dennis Rodman to this day. Actually, you know what? You're probably right.
I want to get back to the point of what Phil did and what made him a great coach. Is he understood those individual personalities. Yep. Accepted those personalities for what they were, and he gave those each individual personalities the power that they needed to do what they needed to do
100%,
but also coached individually to those to pull out their individual strengths
to an extent, and then there's certain standards that everyone had to meet,
right?
Unless you had a reasonable exception, like your productivity was so overwhelming that you had this exception. A bad example is Randy Moss not stretching before practices. I guarantee you it shortened his career by 5 years because his coaches allowed him to say, I'm so good I don't need to stretch before practices or games.
How many
I guarantee you it shortened his career by 5 years.
Did Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and some of those characters work together with?
And to be fair as well, as much as I'll give Dennis Green and everyone shit about that, Dennis Green also had 0 behavioral issues from Randy Moss. Randy Moss had only behavioral issues once Dennis Green was gone.
Dude, once you can find a way...
you let a guy do his deal, you manage him properly, he has no issues with the cops or with making the news. Well, as soon as you're gone, this person starts lashing out and starts having bad press. He hits a meter maid. He's, berating caterers. And you know what I mean? You see what I'm getting at here? Like, again,
the right chemistry between people is very important.
And I think respect has a lot to do with that, too, when you're talking about coaching or leadership and even parenting. And that's where I was going with this is I use a coaching analogy because I'm not a parent, right? I've been parented, but where I've gotten my best life advice and have the greatest bonds and my best mentors and motivators are guys who were either bosses or coaches in my life.
Right.
You know, some guy who I was 12 years old and I played baseball for him and we won the state championship that year. But there was things he taught me about life.
Right.
In that one season that I still, like, for example, we're going to work our ass off. We want to win and dominate. But guess what? We're on a 3-game losing streak. You know why? Because you motherfuckers don't have fun anymore. So we're canceling practice today and we're going to have a fucking water balloon and egg fight. Because you guys need to start having fun again.
That's a teacher right there.
And rebuild chemistry amongst our team mid-season, and we literally went undefeated the rest of the year.
Funny how that fucking works.
Until the playoffs, lost one game in the playoffs, went to the losers bracket. We didn't do another fucking same thing. He had something else. I don't even remember what it was, but got us right back on track, and we went undefeated through the rest of the playoffs, beat that same Golden Valley team twice in the championship. That's what I'm getting at. It's not just about being a coach. This is also true about parenting or being a boss or being a band member or a manager or an agent
pretty much,
or a producer or an engineer or anybody in a team environment and then understanding the role that you play as well.
Absolutely.
Like, do you need to be the lighthearted guy like a Jeremy Blake who's always going to make sure that we're having fun and the vibe is light? Or does that group need balance and somebody who's serious and who's going to make sure that there's a checklist of objectives that are going to be done, which is usually a guy like me, right?
I think what's really great, I'm going to tell you this.
What does the group need? What is best for this team to
win?
Is
when the group starts doing that on
and
their
humanity
own.
is a giant group. In case anybody doesn't understand where this whole thing is going,
that's
we're
like the
all
win
one big
for
group,
me. That's the win for me,
right? Our
That's
state's
the
a
win.
group, our city's a group, our music scene's a group.
Yeah.
The country's a group, humanity as the globe
pretty
is a group.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think people fall off when they seem to forget that or haven't really caught on to that.
Hey,
being
what's
the
up,
truth.
Quack? Oh, so shout out to my boy I used to game with on the fucking heavy
Quack
Attack
sanitizer.
Quack
Attack. His name's Oso. He lives in Texas. Shout out to my boy. Thanks for dropping into chat, buddy. I love you, man. I miss you, buddy. We gotta get on some Rocket League again soon. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that. But
well, speaking of groups, I mean, you know,
Jerry's
let's talk about the.
Jeremy is just coming in with some hot stuff.
Jeremy has hit some hot fire on here. So
What's he got?
So we got to hit rewind a little bit based on some of the shit we were talking about. So he's talking about, if anything, it's like SPS. I'd say it's like having the glass already pretty full, so your baseline is already on edge. SPS equals energy processing sensitivity. Generally speaking, a singular event. Oh, I got hiccups. Hold on. Generally speaking, a singular event can lead to PTSD, and an ongoing series of traumatic events can lead to CPTSD, but all this stuff can be intertwined as well.
Yeah.
And then my boy, Quack Attack with the humor, is this lotion or sanitizer?
I'm just going to sum up that whole
Shout out to
conversation.
Brady. I'll play some Rocket League with y'all. All right, man. Let's do it on Xbox, baby.
Sum up that conversation as a whole, I think it is individually
on the
based.
Whole or as a whole?
As a whole.
In the whole?
In the whole.
On
the whole.
Around the hole?
Around the hole.
In or around the hole?
No,
that's a fucking...
I truly believe... I truly believe it is individualized. We need to accept the understanding that people experience things differently based off of what it is that they've been through. And we just got to be open about that and accept those experiences for their experiences.
Yeah, and
that's
I think,
just me.
And
man.
I think one of the big things is actively helping people when they're in those situations, because a lot of us will reach out like, oh, anything you need, and it's really just like a placated statement that's often made, and it's like, okay, if you're really gonna offer me up that, here's what I actually need. Like,
I think ...
You gotta be willing to say that. Like, okay, here's what I know. Know yourself. Know what you're gonna need. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and make sure when you ask for help, it ain't some fucking bullshit that's gonna desensitize when you're actually people around you when you're actually going around real shit. Because then you will be the boy who cried wolf, and motherfuckers are gonna be like, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, you need to man up and go through your bullshit. Because that's honestly, that is also true. Like, a lot of motherfuckers are soft and don't realize, listen, you're capable, you're strong, you're resourceful, but you haven't been tested. Everything's been given to you. The moment you hit a single... Yeah, and that's a big problem is, like, some of us give in too early. Because I've been watching some of these survival shows, man. And some of these motherfuckers give up on the first night. And I'm like, wow.
Why?
Wow. Some of them just get scared. They hear one wolf. Dude, they hear one fucking branch break.
Based off of exposure, right? They think they've been exposed.
They're not
haven't been.
Yeah, perception, right? Failed self-confidence, lies you tell yourself about how badass you are, how tough you are.
That's a huge problem in the male.
Like we set, and that's what I'm getting at now is like we set ourselves up for a lot of this, and I've been coming to that. Like a lot of my confidence has been built on lies and perceptions I've told myself because I'm my biggest cheerleader, I'm my biggest critic, right? So I built this failed self-confidence. So immediately my dad goes in the hospital. And an entire chunk of my identity is gone.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, oh, that was never me.
Yep.
That was me leaning on him like a crutch. And now that crutch is gone, I can't balance. Yeah. I'm not ready. I'm not as much of a man as I thought I was going to. You see what I'm getting at here?
Oh, I feel you.
Like failed perceptions of your own realities.
The deficit is all the time you didn't take while he was around to actually build that part up. Yep. So now that big chunk is gone, boom,
sometimes
you have all those years that you need to start catch up on.
I didn't learn enough.
I think
didn't
sometimes,
listen enough.
Man, it's
I
rough,
didn't spend enough time with him.
I think inadvertently we build these consistencies around us that when it's gone, we didn't realize what. I mean,
it's heavy, right?
I hate to say
fucking
that.
Heavy, right?
I hate to be that cliche. Like you didn't know what you had till you lost it.
So true though.
I don't know if it's impossible to be anything else.
And no matter how many times you get reminded of it, it keeps happening.
When my grandpa died a month and a half ago, he was my rock. He was the guy that when my dad wasn't there when I was born, he was there.
Sure.
He baptized me.
Mm-hmm.
He in moments of struggle, he didn't yell at me. He said, "Son, what are you mad about right now?"
Right.
Is it really that big? Is it really? He was a preacher man.
Preacher man.
He was a deacon.
You're getting a little southern drawl going on here.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Listen,
I know. But
gross domestic product.
Are you from the South?
He was no, not at all.
From here?
I'm catching a southern accent.
I got it in me somehow.
You're suddenly slipping into it a little bit thicker and thicker.
But Grandpa, he was a deacon in a Catholic church.
Oh, dude, I'll fucking gaslight you right now. Drop into my southern accent.
Don't.
I'll drop into my southern accent. And by the end of the night, you'll sound like you're from Louisiana.
Yeah. I'll draw.
Do they consider Missouri a southern
hang on
state?
a second,
Missouri.
Jared, I'm about to get you.
It's weird.
Jared is literally kind of what made the Civil War break
I'm about
out.
to get you. I'll draw.
That's where I'm from. So.
I mean, dude.
We on the heart.
Listen, man. If we want to start,
but I want to share.
It's gonna take me a minute to get into it, but we want to start. This. I mean, I got a good solid Texas accent. You want to fuck with that? I mean, I'll get you, bud.
Listen, you lose.
I'll get you, bud.
You lose somebody that helped you become who you are today, and then there is a piece of you that goes away,
like Papa,
or Grandpa. Dude, it's real, man. And
I don't think there's even a way to really
no, it's super real. I'm smiling and joking right now because like I cope in my own way, right? We just talked about
absolutely. So do I, man.
But I'm going through it right now. Dad had an aneurysm. He's in the hospital. Fucking had several strokes. Slipped into a coma. Fucking
super sorry, man.
Then they're saying he's got brain damage, may never walk again.
Yep.
Small chance won't make it out. Like it went as bad as it possibly could have. We're finally starting to get some good news, but now I'm already at the stage where I'm managing hope, where I'm like, nope, I'm already in the right place emotionally if it goes bad. So I'm not gonna flip the script and go positive, because then if something bad happens, then I'm right back to where I was a week ago, which is not in a good spot.
It's all
man.
about.
I don't want to be where I was a week ago.
Managing expectations.
Yeah, and managing your own. And this is what I realized. This is what I realized about depression, mental health, anxiety, all that kind of shit, right? The first thing that happens to you when you start entering anxiety and depression, tell me if I'm wrong. This is my experience, but tell me if I'm wrong. The first thing that happens is you lose control over your thoughts and your emotions.
Boom.
You're no longer in control of how your brain goes down a chain reaction of worst case scenario. Or your emotions, and you start emotionally realizing the imagined potential of your thoughts. That's where it starts manifesting physically.
For sure.
So like your brain goes, oh, this is worst case scenario, but your emotions go, oh, okay, that's what we're dealing with now. And it's like, whoa, we're not there yet.
Exactly.
That's for me. That's the first step. So the first thing I had to do was acknowledge that, okay, I've lost control over my emotions and feelings.
Yep.
And then figure out ways to get control of that.
Correct.
And that was the second week, right? So week 1 was acknowledging I had a problem, almost like I'm in rehab. Second week was getting control over those thoughts and feelings. Right. And now in the third week, combined with some good news, I'm moving forward. Bad news could set me back, but I'm prepared for that. I understand that because I'm aware, like you just said, I'm aware of my situation and my ability to handle these things. This is all a part of mental health, and most dudes don't talk about this shit because we're either ashamed, we have no one to talk to, because let's just be perfectly honest, Chris Rock was right. The only people or the only things in this world that are loved unconditionally are babies and dogs.
Absolutely.
Like, that's it. Because if you're a fucking man, no one, honestly, in the big scheme of things, no one gives a fuck about us.
You have
acknowledged that.
Your value as a man is established in a certain way in this society.
Yeah.
And all of us men growing up in this society we are the way we are because of that.
100%.
So what you just said, unconditional love, pets, babies.
Yep. That's it.
We don't got time. I'm not saying it's right, but it's like we don't have time to be quote unquote weak.
That's what I was getting to earlier.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. We got to get the job done right now because and honestly, it stems to a lot of justifiable reason. There's people that depend on us.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's wrong.
I know, right?
However,
right?
If we break and we need to be able to build ourselves back up healthy.
Somebody's got to give us time.
Yes.
Give me fucking time to breathe. Give me time to be weak. Give me time to move on without risking losing my job or losing my house because I can't pay my mortgage. Let's start doing that, and then we can have a culture or a society of stronger, healthier people on a mental aspect, like going to the gym, right?
Right.
Like getting on a good diet. But sometimes you need a fucking break. But that also comes with a lot of personal responsibility. Okay, if we give you that break, I give you 2 weeks. What are you going to do with that 2 weeks? Are you going to drink yourself into oblivion? Are you going to smoke a bunch of weed and play video games? Or are you actually going to go deal with your shit and figure out a way to come back strong again?
Come back strong again, yep.
Yeah,
I agree, man.
It's a tough balance, dude, because I've been in that spot. You give people too much flexibility. You give people too much rope. They never deliver. We mentioned this before the podcast. You guys asked me about, hey, what about that guy you mentioned? And I go, dude, it's been literally over a year, and I've never heard a single track from that person. At some point, I have to move on and find somebody else to play his instrument. It's been a year, and I've never heard a single track from this guy on that instrument. Bro, I gotta just move on at some point. Which I actually did months and months and months ago. But you see what I'm getting at? Like, you can't be too flexible. Some motherfuckers need some people to ride their ass. Going back to the Phil Jackson thing. Some people need a Michael Jordan. This is why I try to explain I'm not a good leader. I don't have time for that shit. I want to be in a collaboration project where I don't need to run your shit.
See,
or if you're not where I'm at, you just know how to deal with your deal. Like, I don't want to, I'm not a good enough leader to get you mentally where you need to be. Like you gotta have your own.
You were
shit.
gonna say something, Justin.
Yeah, you were gonna jump in.
I think you're gonna.
I think, Jeremy, from my perspective, chunks of this. How do we know what mental illness and what clinical mental illness is versus what's not? And I think here's my whole take on mental health. My whole take on mental health is this: is if you're feeling sad for whatever reason and whatever dark, deep thoughts you're thinking, don't live in that by yourself, right? And if the people that you're surrounded with are not enough to get you over the hump to be able to work through what it is that you're working through, then medical, like clinical help is necessary. I think for some of us, it's the fact of just not being able to talk about it or feeling safe enough to talk about it sometimes does not allow us to identify. And I need clinical help.
I want to jump in just as you're saying this because I don't feel like we're not on the same page or confused. No. I feel like we're talking about a very elaborate and convoluted topic, and we're talking about it in a broad stroke way to kind of make everybody understand that these things are related and make it relatable.
Right. Yeah, because I mean,
if you guys are confused, then I'm doing a bad job of drawing those crossroads for you guys. Because in this room, I don't feel like we're confused or misunderstanding anybody. What we're all doing is talking about a similar or opposing
related ideas,
but that are all in the same sphere.
Intertwined.
I'm respecting your.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't, because I don't feel like I'm arguing with you guys at all.
Yeah,
because
all I worry about is like if people listening think like, oh, they're saying A, B, and C, but I feel like this. Well, that's why I like when Justin gives his take.
And then you guys should be putting that like Jeremy's doing and Cloth is doing. I'm going to read Cloth's comment next. I want you guys to keep putting that in the chat because that's hyperly important, because not everything we're saying is true and absolute. It's all extremely relative and just our base perception.
To who you are.
We don't even know. We could be wrong on many points, but it's just based on what we're experiencing when it comes to this topic.
There's shit I've talked about on the podcast that I don't like rehashing over and over and over again because it seems like you're self-aggrandizing. But dude, if you guys are loyal watchers and listeners of the podcast, you guys should be able to put this puzzle together real quick. Between the riots, between the fire that we just had.
Like a bonfire in Minnesota.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at the beginning of June, a fucking house fire happened 2 houses up from me, 3 houses up from me, and me, my wife, and my roommate fucking pulled those people out of that smoke fire in the backyard and kept a dude alive. Dude, it was like some crazy. You want to hear a slightly more detailed version of the story? It's I think episode 91-ish with Sean Ware. I remember Sean being here that night, and he came down here, and I was like still shaking because I'm a classic old school. We got a job to do. The show must go on, so we're not canceling the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to figure out a way to Brett Favre this motherfucker, and we're doing this podcast. Sean and I had a great podcast, but Sean came down here, and I was like, bro, I got you'll never believe it. And literally, Sean was like, no, your wife and your roommate already told me. And I was like, okay, thank God. I don't want to tell that story. So he already understood everything he was walking into. But the shit I've been through is absolutely insane. Point being is there's other people. And Cloth is that's why I said I'm going to read his comment next, because Cloth is kind of alluding to this. We're all wired a little bit differently. Yep. So what pushes me to my limits of breakdown
different for me.
It's absolutely in many ways a much thicker tape than a lot of people. So again, some people haven't been broken. They're not depressed. They're just struggling for the first fucking time. And a little anxiety is good. A little bit of stress is good. Is what we're referring to is when that has gone way farther than what you're able to handle, and it starts physically manifesting itself in actual things that will disable you as a fucking person, from PTSD to the thing you're talking about with the cortisol literally making you go blind, to the fucking anxiety, to depression. It doesn't matter. These are scales. It's like a pulsating scale for each person that's relative. And yeah, we need to be there for each other. We shouldn't be enabling each other to continue to be soft and weak, but we also need to be there to pick another motherfucker up.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I got you. You're not alone.
And I think there's not enough of that. There's not enough of like, some people are too stuck in the, well, you're strong enough to do this, blah, 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 like, get up, get back to work. Or
I think
as opposed to, wait a minute. Do I understand really what's going on when I see this?
I think that's it.
Maybe you need some help, buddy.
That's it. Like, shit.
Who are you calling buddy, pal?
Are you okay?
Well, just let me know. I mean, Don't
okay?
Call
me pal,
right?
friend?
Are you okay? Yeah, and if you are not okay,
I gotta remember that guitar.
You're okay, dude. If you want to, man, you can just pull this, move it here, and sit in the middle, dude.
I think for me, that's really what it comes down to.
Sweet spot?
Well, and I think
you're going to be fine on camera anyway. In fact, the more you come to the middle, the more you'll be seen on this one. And then I just got to be careful for this one. When you guys talk.
Yeah.
Jeremy's so cute.
Check.
God, I love Jerry.
I mean, that's all right.
Jeremy, I keep calling you Jerry.
Jeremy
Jerry's
Blake.
Right there.
Jeremy, he's so cute. Oh, he's so adorable.
I love you.
Fuck it. What kind of fucking weird ass foot fetish shit do we have going on here?
I don't know what he's referring to there.
But no,
he knows what I'm referring to.
It's your thing. Okay.
I think really in
I'm gonna call you Bjorn Strid, Jeremy.
Hold on, let me read Klaus' comments before you comment on Jeremy's comment, because I wanted to say this because these are a lot of the motherfuckers I grew up with, vets who've been through some real fucking shit. So you start feeling ashamed to even talk about your struggles around them, because you hear them tell your struggles or their struggles and their trauma, and you're like, yeah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
Like for real. This is just shit I grew up around, where you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah. Like hearing that now, I can go home and go, what you just said, is it really that big of a deal? But you mentioned that earlier, right? Let me read his comment real quick though, because this is shit that I've heard throughout my entire life. So I spent the first 17 years. This is Clothiak Skin, loyal listener. Not a Patreon subscriber, you cheap son of a bitch. Sorry. Anyways, sorry, that was my Tourette's kicking in there. I spent the first 17 years of my life on a slaughterhouse hog farm. Okay, that's a brutal life.
That's a life.
Then went to war where I was shot and brought back twice in combat. The VA said I was fine and obviously had what it took. Next comment. We don't want to make this thing sound like just a rant, but I think we're all wired differently, but it's the test of life that shows us what we are, for better or for worse. That is something I agree with 100%, because there are fucking warriors, there are fighters and killers, and then there are people who it's like, dude, you're not cut out for that.
Yeah.
And in a military, we'd go, you're not mentally capable of killing people and watching people die and being able to handle your shit. So we need you to file the paperwork.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing, but there's another degree of that in regular society.
Right.
Oh,
like you're not a person. You show all the skills of being a great manager, but what being a manager will do to you will cripple you, and in the long run, you'll be ineffective. That's what we don't do.
The science of what you just explained there is something that businesses across the fucking land, I feel, have not fucking figured out.
No. And then there's guys who it's like, you don't show you have the skill set to be a manager, but that will be your best fucking manager because he doesn't fit your algorithm or your psych test.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker, because I know from experience, that motherfucker can like literally watch people die, kill other people, recover bodies, get the mission complete, and come out with his head on straight and want to go back in. but he didn't pass your little but the military is way more efficient at this than regular businesses or societies, because they do these personality tests now. They do these IQ and psych tests, and they're like, oh, your aptitude isn't on that. And it's like, fuck your aptitude. I win everything I do. Give me a chance. Sorry, you didn't meet this. You answered this one question wrong. Go fuck your question in its ass.
Well,
this is what we do. We categorize people.
We'll put them into the physical realm.
This is a real thing that a lot of people are affected by.
No?
It's a real thing a lot of people are affected by. They're put into the wrong situations because some leader or some manager thinks they know better because they have an ego.
My opinion, I feel as if it's really about...
Ploth, you're right. Getting chased by an 800-pound cow, Sal in his example, will cure most depression, at least for a while anyways. No, that's true. It's 100% true.
Absolutely.
Just imagining that shit
is what will fuck you up, though, is being a hero doesn't feel as good as you think it does. Being a hero and saving somebody's life doesn't make you feel like it looks like it feels when you watch a movie.
The expectation.
I've been in that situation more than once now.
I agree. Yeah,
and dude, being a hero and saving somebody's life is not a good... You do not walk out of there. And I'm telling you it's happened twice now. It's happened twice now in my entire life where I've saved somebody's life. And I'm telling you from personal experience, if somebody walks out of there feeling good about themselves, there's something egomaniacal in that person. Because when you save somebody else's life, everyone else told me you should feel great until I talked to vets and firefighters. And they're like, oh, no. You flirted with death. Yeah, that never feels good.
Right. Well, because first of all, it's inevitable.
No.
Yeah, you start wrestling with your own mortality.
It could have went a very different way.
Like I could have ran in there and fucking something could have went wrong.
There you go.
Or that could have been me on the other side and somebody may not have saved me. Okay. And then it stops becoming about what you actually did, and it starts becoming about all the other shit that is or is not happening or could have happened. Like how many other people didn't have somebody go save this person? How many, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you fucking save somebody from drowning or from whatever, and you immediately walk out and you're like, you feel great about yourself and you're like bragging, like there's something fucking wrong with you. Like you're not wired right.
I
don't trust that person going forward. That's all I'm saying.
This sounds weird as shit.
From personal experience. I'm not saying I'm right.
Sounds weird as shit. Back to my everyday.
Sorry, I feel like I've been ranting a lot.
No. I just I want to help for me just to say this. For me, every day is just trying to do good with causing no harm on anybody else. And if I can do that, I'm really satisfied with who I'm becoming as a person. That's it. I won't brag about it. I won't tell the stories. I won't do any of that shit.
I mean, to add to your point, I think that's honestly the best people can do. If you're a decent human being that cares about,
man,
the other creatures you share this planet with.
No, man, it's not about gratitude. It's not about what you tell me how great I am.
Gratitude?
Sure, I made that up.
I think I know the word you're saying, but I'm afraid to
say gratuity and gratitude at the same time.
Whatever.
No, and I'm not even sure gratuity is the same as gratitude.
Now that you mentioned,
dude, I hope you make a fucking meme out of this moment.
No, I'm not making fun of you. It fucked with me for a minute.
Isn't that
gratuity and gratitude are very similar. They're definitely synonyms, but I'm not sure gratuity is the forward paying version of gratitude. I think it's just showing gratitude.
Showing gratitude.
Gratuity is a thing you've done to show gratitude.
Yeah. So logical.
It's
I'm
sorry,
dude. I'm
not. I'm just one of those idiots that does
person.
that.
Look,
I'm just fucking with you, dude. I love you, man. You know I love you.
I know. That's why you keep having me back. Listen, It's where it comes
Don't
down
you ever
to.
fucking question it, or I
I
swear
will
to God.
question you.
I will fucking. You don't even want to know what I'll do. If you don't know how much I love you, you don't even want to know what I'll do.
I hope that goes back and
That
forth
level of
as a
love
meme.
might be a little weird. If it's a very fierce.
Don't make me
version of
force
love.
it.
I
Don't
know.
make me force
It's okay.
it. Just let it
It's
happen.
okay.
Let it happen.
I love you. I think
No, I fucking love you. You don't fucking love me. I
okay,
love you.
That's fine.
Well, fucking.
Thank you. I
fucking-
appreciate you. I love you.
Don't drop this line. No, I appreciate you.
Oh. All right.
I'm sorry.
And by all means, go on. Let's go on 5 more minutes with that.
I think that would be funny in a playback
sorry.
moment. Like back and forth, back and forth.
I'm sorry.
I truly believe it, man.
Oh yeah. By the way, I bought another
I already
version. For you, dude.
apologize.
I brought another version for you because I know like
Did you?
you haven't heard much
God, you're
of
great.
the old shit.
Those are the same ones I just had. Those are mine.
Are
No,
those
you
yours?
brought yours, dude.
You can have yours. Wait. Oh, shit.
Never mind. Here we go.
All right. So before I gotta go pee, should we talk about the band a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about the band because I was just gonna say the same
It
thing.
only
Let's
took
take
us
a
like
leak.
2 and a.
Yeah,
Let's take a leak.
I
Let's
agree
take a
with that,
break.
dude.
We're gonna have some. Now
Are
we're
you gonna
gonna
play
have some real.
Hang
fun.
on. Are you gonna play some Dreams Aside shit?
No, I was gonna
Okay.
play some of my
Yeah.
own shit.
Fine.
Well, we can
I
do
figured
both.
I'd
we can
invite
do
you guys
both.
on and then just play my own music because that's
What a
what
dick.
assholes do.
Can do both.
No, I got your shit ready to go.
Do we do
I
that
put them in
afterward, or
alphabetical
what?
order. I put them in alphabetical order. So you sent me 2 songs. One's called like Reflections, and then
Yeah.
one's called.
Okay, so this is gonna be like the
Legends.
first reveal of the new stuff that.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is
What was the first one
reveal. Lost Paradise.
Yep, because
Lost
I put it.
Paradise.
Okay, so Lost
So
Paradise.
Lost-
That's what we're gonna play
Lost,
right now,
Lost Paradise is like the final version.
and it's Lost Paradise, not Los Paradise.
I mean, if you want it to be.
I mean, is there a T in it or not?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So we got Lost
he
Paradise.
said sure. There
know.
either is or isn't.
Yeah.
Lost.
Whatever. He,
I was pretty
Listen,
sure it was Lost Paradise,
listen,
but
I'm
the
gonna
way he
tell
was
you,
saying it, I was
whatever,
like, "Fuck, dude, did
it's
I
Lost Paradise.
did I type that
You should
in
have
wrong?"
just messaged me, Jerry.
It's,
This is what
it's
Justin.
Lost Paradise.
Lost Paradise.
Lost Paradise.
Lost Paradise.
I'm gonna give it a little history on the song.
Okay, give us the history.
I'm gonna give
us
it the
rundown.
history. Jerry brought the song to us, which thank you, sir.
What does that mean?
Well,
you wrote it?
No, it was
Like the lyrics?
the lyrics I did.
Okay,
Yeah, melody,
okay.
lyrics,
Lyrics.
and stuff like that. But it was it came from an artist that goes by Mata Tracker.
Say that again.
Mata Tracker.
Mata Tracker.
Do we want to give him a free plug?
I mean, Mata Tracker.
we
what's
wanna
up,
give him a
dude?
shout out?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where can people follow his stuff?
You can follow him on Instagram and as well as YouTube are his
Yep.
main platforms.
Yep.
So it's MADA and then Tracker,
Tracker.
like track
Oh, okay.
Oh, the
gotcha.
track your guitar.
ER, all one word. And he writes some pretty cool stuff.
Write some pretty cool stuff. Sent it over our way. We put our own twist on it. And then this is Lost Paradise.
So
I think
it was lyrics that you wrote.
Yep.
Yep, there's lyrics.
Based on what did he bring to the table? A chord progression?
chord progression, guitar,
chord progression
basically,
guitars,
okay.
yeah.
Some
yeah,
drums.
we
melody. He gave us melody.
So he's
Right.
your Charlie Manson to
Sure.
your Beatles.
Yeah.
we can say that, yeah.
Okay. right.
I mean apart from
Minus the
apart from like
culty dead people thing.
apart from like some additional keyboards that
Yeah.
we had I think Mark added
Interesting.
and then a solo that we added in there, extended a little bit, and then
So you already had a relationship with this guy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this song,
Yep.
Let me
and then
tell you
approached
something.
them.
yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
Because when you
let me
started this project,
Yeah.
you didn't have one singer.
No.
The idea was going to be you guys were going to have multiple singers
The
guest
idea-
appearing throughout.
The idea
And you started off just doing
the
one or two songs,
idea
right?
originally
Yeah.
was like, here's this group of people, we're writing music, we got this shit going on, but we really wanted Jim.
Okay.
I
So-
didn't know this
no.
at the time though.
No,
but
he didn't know.
go ahead
he
and
didn't
continue.
know. So we
So you
really
pulled in
wanted
Adam D.
Oh, dude, we were flirting with his ass.
You pulled in Adam D with
Not
Jesse
literally,
Lynch.
folks.
Oh, we were flirting with Jerry, and I remember, and Mark and Brady,
Chime in if you want.
Mark and
Or
Brady,
don't. We can't tell
chime
you
in
what
if
to
you
do.
want. We
Or
were
don't.
like, so we sent over this
But
song.
please do.
We sent over another song called "Defending Silence," And it was a song that I was finally introduced into the band full time. And, you know, we're like, I don't know, is it going to work? Like, is he going to like it? God, I hope he joins on. So we get into this meeting. Jerry is on his phone in a Facebook video chat thing, and it's pitch black, and the only thing that's shining on Jerry's face is purple. Whatever he's got going on in his room is pimp, because it is just purple in Jerry's face.
Well,
and I'm
them
like,
RGB lights behind you.
Yeah,
well,
it
was more blue, but it was like.
Was it more blue?
Yeah, but I had like.
I mean,
TV
you were.
going. I had a movie going on or something like that.
He was just a secretive friend, and I was like, we got done and we were talking, and we were like, Jerry, gonna be in the band, and I didn't know. I didn't know if because he never said yes. He never said like, yes, I'm in the band. We never asked the question. Like,
yeah, so you Jesse lynched him. Got it. Okay.
We totally Jesse lynched him.
What?
You tricked him.
No. It was really bizarre because how we the conversation.
You guys don't fucking hurry this shit up. I'm just gonna start playing this song.
Okay, I'm just saying, like
Jerry, tell your condensed.
I'm just gonna say
because I'm a bit of a storyteller.
All it was, I mean, we were having all these conversations as
I just gotta piss really bad.
Well, hey, we can piss first.
No, tell the story. God
okay, so
it.
real quick, we had all the conversations as to what we want to do, blah blah blah. We said, you know what? It seems like, for me anyway, it seemed like the right time. These guys already had it established that you know what?
Yeah.
We're together.
We're going to write.
I thought it was the drummer Brady and like Mark the guitarist only at the time. I didn't know like Mike and then Justin were in. So it came down to, you know what?
I existed.
It's
I was in the room.
I think the 10 to 12 year hiatus from being in a band, it's time to be in a band again. I like where you guys are coming from mentally. I've done like 2.5 songs with you now. Yeah. Let's do it.
And so you're now the official full-time singer.
Officially
the
full-time singer. Yep.
You heard
Our
it here.
Guy.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. You tried to say that earlier before. We were doing the dry run, and I was like, "You guys realize we're not live, right?" And you guys just died laughing because you did that exact line.
See, the problem
but
is
you did that exact line, and now it actually works.
See, the problem is you put us two together, and it's.
Yeah, it's philosophical.
It's an hour and a half. It's an hour and a half of conversation.
It's either going to be a great podcast or it's going to be a terrible podcast. Yeah. And I never have any ability to judge that anymore. Like there's times I wake up in the morning and they're like, and I'm like, oh God, what did I do and say? I feel embarrassed. And then I look at the numbers, I look at the comments, and people are like, this is the fucking content I tune in for. You know, and I'm like,
this is what I love.
I'm like, oh my God. Like it's the epitome of that old adage. Yeah. You can please some of the people all the time, and you can please all of the people some of the time. But you'll never please everyone all the time.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well,
so this is what's the first one? They're
I believe it's Lost
Paradise.
It's alphabetical order. Yeah. Okay, Lost Paradise then.
Yep. All right, so here we go.
Check it out, folks.
Check it out.
Suck it, nerds.
First Vision.
I get the last word. Suck it, nerds.
Fine.
I'll fucking punch you in the dick. All right, we are back. Justin's still taking a leak, but Jerry's here, so we're good to go.
So that is Lost Paradise, folks.
Yeah, and like you and I were just talking during the break, it's a lot easier once you're here.
Oh, yeah, as far as that, because I don't know if people know, but this is my first podcast ever, so...
I gotta grab a beer.
I kind of want to ask Justin for his last one.
I'm gonna wait until Justin gets back.
He wants it.
I got a couple more upstairs, so we're okay. It's just this one that just got tapped out. I gotta go grab a beer, so I was just waiting for you to get back. But yeah, we were just...
One more.
I was asking Jerry if he was having fun, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm having fun. I was like, yeah, it's a lot easier once you're here. It's really easy to psych yourself out on the way here and be like, what are we going to talk about? What's he going to ask? Well, you know, how's this going to go? What's this going to be like? And then once you're here, it's just literally we're just hanging out and we'll just talk about what we're going to talk about. So cloth, sorry, I always say this wrong. Cloth, as always, critical of the drums. Says you guys need a real drummer.
What?
Is that not a real drummer? Is that program drums?
Oh, that's...
Yep.
That's a real drummer?
Matt Attracker did the drummers. Yeah.
Sounds like program drums to cloth. Is he correct?
He is correct on that particular recording. Yep.
This is something that often comes up on this podcast, is the lack of real drummers getting good recordings on real records nowadays.
Really?
Too many people, I actually agree with Cloth on this. There's way too many motherfuckers doing program drums. So you're recording an album, and then you're trying to figure out how to perform that on stage.
Yeah.
And I am old school as fuck. I think that's an ass backward way to do things. You need to become we're back live.
Oh.
You need to become a real band, do your shit, and then capture that sound on record. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm right. This is just my philosophy. This is one of the reasons I haven't dropped my record yet. Because I ain't fucking programming the goddamn drums. I need to find the right fucking drummer, and we need to capture this sound on record properly. Sure. Cloth is of that old school philosophy, and it's something we've been debating and figuring out on this podcast for a long time, is how do we hybrid the best of both worlds of the digital recording versus the old school analog sound, where you had real beasts actually being recorded on record. You guys can chat about this for a second. I'm going to grab a beer real quick.
Grab one for me.
You got one more in there.
Do I?
Yeah, you guys got one beer left. I'm gonna grab whatever I have up there, and I'll bring them down, and then we can just.
That's yours.
Oh, are you giving me that one?
Yeah.
I might have something.
Because that's what I do.
Hold on, I might have something as an exchange. Then hold on.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah, I think I'm in the world of like
What a great.
I get what they're coming from. I do understand where they're coming from. I'm actually just not as critical as they. Comes to that.
Yeah. I think for me, what I've learned in studio experiences, you know, Matt or this is Cloth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. He says, or Cloth, sorry, he, she, Cloth.
Sorry,
Shit.
If we messed your name up, dude.
I'm messing this up. Okay.
No, I know. I do it every time.
So, wow. What are you
thank you,
doing?
Man.
Okay, love you.
Sweet.
Love you long time.
Glasses.
Okay. So, here's what I want to share. Is when you are on a local budget, when shit costs a lot of money, recording the drums are actually the most expensive part of recording an album. So here's why we decided to do digital. Is it's accurate, it's on point, it's in time, it's perfect. It's.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Keep going. I just had to take a deep breath.
It's mathematically perfect.
Quantized, you mean?
Quantized.
Everything's tight.
Everything's tight. Yep, everything's specific.
Then I understand if the criticism. On that point too, at the same time, I understand. Musicians want.
I also
that
understand feel.
Yeah.
Like the imperfections of. Listen, one of my favorite artists in the world is Dave Grohl. if there's anybody who's gonna record live drums, it's gonna be my guy Dave Grohl, because you're gonna get the feel.
You know him personally?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying my guy because he's my guy.
Your guy.
If I was gonna hang on,
he's like my best friend.
Hang on, I quote this right now. If Dave Grohl were to watch this today, Dave Grohl, you and I are having a conversation because I love you, dude.
Wait.
Anyways, so at the end of the day,
Jared's just so precise right now.
You're doing something like I'm proud of you. The reason why we went with these types of drums in all of our tracks, A, consistency, B, we don't have financial dollars for studio time, C, it sounds sonically fucking awesome, and at the end, we want to produce a great product for our listeners.
So, yeah, and that's not to say that we're never not going to do that.
We're never not going to do that.
I mean,
right now, what makes sense for this project is to do drums this way. That's it. It's just quite simple. Removing emotion from all of it and just saying we need to get an album out. It's going to sound fucking awesome. So we're going to do it this way.
But I mean, look, I'm afraid your friend's name
Cloth,
like as in a cloth. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I won't forget it now. Yeah, I mean, he does bring up a good point.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you could even pick that out.
Yeah.
And because I mean, I don't know that the general individual would unless they're told. Especially when it comes down to how...
Wait for the foam to drop and then finish the pour.
Especially when it comes down to how songs are, even like the quality of how songs can get this day and age. It's like...
Yeah.
The difference you really have to have an ear for to find out, that was as spectacular as that sounds for sound quality. That was a drummer in studio.
It's too tight.
Yeah.
Like that's what I noticed. That's what Cloth notices. Okay. Because we talked about this a lot. It's like, nope, those are programmed drums. I'm not into it. And people are like, why is that such a thing for you? And I'm like, because once there's programmed drums, all the actual soul is removed from the music. It's gone. It's
but I have to
and this is just my opinion as a listener.
Your experience.
Exactly. It's just my opinion as a listener where I can clearly hear the compute, unless you're really fucking insane about it and you actually start going into like an old MPC and you start adjusting where they had programmed, it's literally a thing called swing.
Yep. I know.
And I can program swing into the beat. Now you as a programmer and as a producer / engineer, as the drumming programmer, you need to add. But most people don't. Most people put it in. It's programmed. The fills are boring. The breaks are boring. They're predictable. They're repeatable. They're built in 1 or 4 bar loops. I'm not saying this about you. These are the things that Cloth and I notice, and you'll never trick us. Like we all program drummer. Oh, that's a real guy. And him and I gravitate towards real guys. Because for me, and I'm not speaking for Cloth here, for me, where it comes to is as a person who's so rhythmically oriented, right? That's where my soul and I love the melodies, I love the harmonies, I love all of it. But if the beat ain't dope, your shit's weak. And this is also why I don't like most hip-hop, because most hip-hop is programmed drums. I like old school hip-hop where it was sampled loops of real drummers. You see, there's a vibe. So this adds me into my next question. Is the perfection. Some people love a guitar player who bends every note. Everything's perfect. And then there's other guys who dig a Jimi Hendrix, where that impossible slop can't be replicated. That's the art, right? That's the art. It's not the playing. It's the art created through a Kurt Cobain. No, why can nobody play a Kurt Cobain riff properly?
They're not the same.
Because they're too clean.
They're too clean.
They're playing it perfectly. They're playing the notes correctly. They're not pressing on their fucking middle finger too hard like Kirk did.
Yeah.
So every note is just a little sharp and it never sounds right. Or how he never palm muted strings properly. Yeah. So shit's ringing out in the background.
Yeah.
Here's what
I'm getting at.
Here's what
I was gonna mention, but I wanted you to go to.
Sorry. I keep doing this. Here's my point. See what I'm getting at? Sorry, I apologize. I don't know what I'm doing today.
It's all right.
I don't know what the fuck's going on today. I told you I'm snarky at the beginning of this.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right,
here's what I'll
finish our
tell
pours,
you.
and then we can drink.
Okay. Here's what I'll tell you.
It's a smoothie ale called Minnesota Aloha.
I fucking love
and
it.
And it should go right to the brim if you do it just like that. Just like that. Props, my boy.
So here's what I'll tell you.
Props on a good pour, Jerry. Props.
Here's what I'll tell you is...
Yeah, Minnesota Aloha Smoothie Sour.
So here's the thing. You're talking to a guy...
Talking Waters Brewery. You owe me money now for your free plug.
Yes. Here's the deal. I went to McNally Smith, music production, engineering, and recording. I spent time in...
Oh, that's delicious, boys.
Let's just do this really.
That's delicious. Cheers, boys. That's delicious. Wow, that's delicious.
That's really good.
That's also good after you're a couple beers deep. If we would have started with that, wouldn't have been as good.
No.
That's you got to have that a couple deep. So then you have this one.
Here's what I'm telling you from a production perspective is you have to manage your expectations. Your expectations on what that song might be, digitally, virtually, whatever it might, however it is that you do it. Right now, my expectation of where we're at from a recording perspective is in the, hey, we need to create...
That was his question is, did you have a budget in mind when you started the project? We all do. Everyone does. Everyone has a budget in mind.
Absolutely. So we said...
And there's so many tools available at your disposal now.
Especially nowadays.
Where people go,
especially nowadays.
But why would we... Now, here's what I want to say.
Yeah.
The problem is we have a hard time getting a good drummer to record good drums that sound good. That's where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
Until we start talking about a guy like Wally, who can take your shitty sounding drums
and make them sound excellent.
Holy shit levels of impressive.
No, I love Wally.
That's what Wally's doing for me. That's why this drum kit is mic'd up right here, because Wally's like, dude, I'll make those sound banger. Dude. And he showed me some shit he worked on, and I was like, I don't even have to turn off my dehumidifier in the background or the fan. That's how good Wally is.
But
that can be done. It can be done.
It can be.
If you want that, you gotta pay for it.
But here's the other thing.
That's the thing is these guys that are capable of doing this deserve to be paid for their craft.
Statement here is very nice song though. Well done. Right now, our expectations of these songs.
He did said he loves your vocals though.
Right, like
thank you, man.
It's a good fucking song, and when you match it up to the radio,
you know what, dude? Just fucking throw that thing right here and just bounce into the middle. Fuck it,
bro. When you match it up to the radio, these highly compressed songs, all this shit, we're on par. Yes, you can tell that it's programmed drums.
Sounds better than my shit. I ain't criticizing it.
No. Well, I mean, that's not what I'm saying.
No, and I didn't mean that either.
Not what I'm fucking saying.
That was my weird way of agreeing with what you're saying.
It's a valid point that you bring up, Ben Cloth, as well.
That was my weird way of agreeing with you.
I get the reasoning for both. I honestly, like, I'm just, where I'm coming from is I'm just not as viscerally.
Make sure you ride that bitch.
I'm just not as viscerally affected by. Okay, so the human soul of that drum, of a natural drum player, which is awesome. Okay, if they're programmed, if they're precise, that doesn't bother me as much as it would some people, which I understand.
Sure.
Yep.
And that's all it is for me.
Or
that's all it is.
Much flex room.
Yeah.
Right. The ghost notes, the character.
Sure.
The character that lives.
For me is what it really
here.
is. For me, because all these things are valid. We just brought. For me is what it really is the aha moments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So pretend I'm the other guitar player in the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a real drummer there, and he fucks up. But one of us go, aha. Do that fuck up on purpose.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you fucked up, it gave me an idea for this guitar riff over here.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's not even what you actually hear in the recording.
Right.
It's what you don't hear.
It's
that
what you
never got inspired to become a part of the recording.
Right.
So again, the soul.
Yeah, there's definitely
I use the word the soul. There's a musician missing.
Yes,
there's a songwriter missing.
But actually,
there's a guy missing in that band.
Let me share this with you.
And I'm not ragging on you guys at all. I'm just explaining why we've been making this argument for fucking 3 to 6 months now.
But here's the thing:
you guys are kind of coming into the tail end of it.
And
we're kind of. I'm literally just trying to catch you up onto all the shit we've already discussed. Because I don't think anybody's belittling you or telling you your music is poor because you don't have a real drummer. Is what I think people like us are saying is
you have a real drummer.
It could go to that next level.
You actually do
with a real drummer, but not on record.
No, not on record. But he
that's
has
a big difference.
Hang on,
because he's not captured on record.
He has influence in conversation on the fills. The progressiveness
but
of it.
He's not on record. You're missing a band member on record. Therefore, ipso facto, your band, your sound is not being captured on record. You wrote a record and now you're trying to perform that record. So in my eyes, which is not the right way to do things, it's just the way I believe.
After the Burial is all programmed, by the way. Uh-huh.
I mean, this is why I can't side with both sides.
That's why I can't side.
Because it happens all over the damn place.
Here's the thing.
Because that drummer is part of the writing process.
Greg's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
The guy the original drummer for After the Burial.
Mm-hmm.
He recorded all those drums.
Mm-hmm.
And then the record came out. And they got changed to program drums.
Right.
So
the question is...
That's not exactly the best example to use is what I'm getting at.
Woodstock Emergent.
I don't know anything about that.
I would just say...
I do know that there's the program drums are extremely well done. But there's still something about them.
No, and I agree. But here is my statement to that. Is based off of where you're at from a production budget and creating professionally sounding music, you can still take the artist of a drummer and say, what's your fill? What's the percentage of hits that you would hit? And how can I articulate to the best of the availability versus going into a studio for $150 an hour to record drums that take massive amounts
10 hours
of time.
Per song, sure.
Listen, if I had the budget to record a Foo Fighters album or a Metallica item.
I mean, here's the thing: is we can do this now,
or even a local.
We can do this now. We just not all of us have the knowledge and the ability
in our experience right now.
But we can change this, and that's what Cloth and I are getting at. There's a way we can do this at an extremely affordable level and add that missing layer.
I agree.
An insane level of bands.
I agree.
Not just a couple, like literally almost all the bands right now.
And like I mentioned,
we can fix this.
There's no reason we wouldn't do this in the future.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the argument you and I are making is we can fix this. This doesn't have to be the way.
You guys are passionate about this, and that's awesome.
Well, here's the point. There's an argument going on. What's better, my 5150 tube tone or an Axe FX or a Kempler? John Revere from By the Thousands and I think we stumbled across the absolute solution.
What's the solution?
Both.
It's both.
You get your rich tube tone from your 5150 or your Mesa Boogie or your Marshall, and then you run your Axe effects through the fucking effects loop. So you get everything else through that. That still ends up hitting those real tubes.
And then you mix it.
Before it makes it out of the drivers / speakers for the non-music musicians, and then it hits the mic on stage.
Listen,
so
man.
you get the best of both worlds. What if we can do that with drums? What if there's a way
so here's some
you
bullshit.
can come to my basement,
I don't think any musician listening to
cheap.
this is gonna argue with you.
This is what I think we're approaching is what if there's a way you can come to my basement or your own basement with a fucking Zoom L20, right? Record your fucking drums. They don't sound good. But you send them to a guy like Wally,
right,
who does a combination of frequency and sound replacements, so you get the fidelity of programmed drums with the nuance and the human element of your actual fucking playing, because he's that goddamn good at it. You get the best of both worlds.
I mean,
if we can do that affordably, you're going to say yes to doing that.
Yes.
Every band. So now we got to figure out how to do that.
Yep.
On an efficient
and
prolific level, so we can help every band take that night, because there's a lot of talented musicians that can't find the right drummer.
You have my buy-in.
Let's do it. Clausen, he's moving to fucking
hang on.
He's moving to the Minneapolis area. He's convinced he's going to South Dakota. I keep trying to convince Cloth, don't go to South Dakota. It's a shithole. You just come to Minneapolis.
Based on this
Post Malone
conversation, is Cloth a drummer?
He's an engineer.
Engineer, okay.
With a drumming background. Or an emphasis towards drums.
Awesome.
I actually have never heard any of his work, but he seems to know what he's talking about.
Post Malone.
I'm trying to convince him to come to Minneapolis and produce the podcast.
Listen, Post Malone, you think that fucking guy was paying thousands of dollars in studio hours to get White Iverson?
Wait, what? Say that again? Post Malone, do we think he was paying thousands of dollars to hire who?
To get in a studio to get White Iverson. The song that broke him. No. That's the crazy bullshit about it all, right? And you're talking to a guy that paid thousands of dollars for education in music engineering and production.
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Do you think he paid thousands of dollars for studio time to produce White Iverson?
I have no idea, because I don't even know what song you're talking about.
Cool. Post Malone is one of the best hip-hop.
I mean, I know Post Malone, but I don't know this song. I don't understand the context.
The thing that broke him was...
Sure, I mean, fucking, what's her name? Billie Eilish. Her and her brother did that in their room. Sure.
Some people would say Billie Eilish. I don't know which one's right.
So here's my thing.
Neither do I.
Here's my whole point in saying everything that I'm saying right now.
Cloth is also a professional drummer.
And you're also talking to a dude that paid thousands of dollars for a production and engineering recording degree. Just half to create a thing.
Okay, so, but I don't think we're arguing that that's not something certain people can and should do.
Mm.
I think what we're arguing is like, okay, you're a guitar player.
The first thing that you started out with.
You're a guitar player.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you are.
I'm a songwriter.
You're a guitar player.
Nope. Drummer.
You're way overcomplicating this. You're a guitar player.
Okay.
Can you play bass?
Yeah.
Can you write bass?
Yep.
Should you?
Yep.
Would your band be better if you had a real bass player?
Heavy was me.
Would your band be better if you had a real bass player?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's the argument we're making. It's not a can you or should you. It's a would your band be better if we could do it this other way? The answer is always yes. No one has ever agreed that their album and their band is better with a programmed drummer. No one's ever done that, but everyone does it. Because we don't have the ability or the know-how to get affordable, good-sounding, real human element drums on fucking record.
It takes hours of editing.
So Cloth and I are saying, let's fix that.
Hours of editing.
Let's fix that.
Okay.
So let's figure out a way to fix that.
And then I said, you must have a passion for this, because you told me you think you stumbled on this solution, especially working with Wally. And
what's the solution?
Wally has this ability to do frequency and sound replacement, almost like some old school Drumagog shit. almost like old school Drumagog and Dr. Beat or whatever it was called, or Beat Devil or whatever the fuck it was called. I've heard him take shitty sounding drums, his magic.
He actually did it for me.
And you do not know the difference between this guy who gave him, like me, basically, right? Who's like an okay drummer, who gives him a fairly decent on-click drum track. And then he turns around and sends it back to me, and he's like, what do you think of this? And literally, it sounds like we recorded it in $100,000 studio. And he can do this in proverbial level of minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes. It's not going to take him an hour or two per song.
I think it all
he has this shit down.
It all starts back to this.
Now, it's his intellectual property, which is why he deserves to get paid for it, because you have to bring him less of a product to end up with a great product.
So I'm going to bring it back to what Klaus is saying.
Cloth.
God damn it, Cloth. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, dude. It's okay. No one
feels terrible.
Me up, bro. Don't feel terrible. It's a confusing name.
What is affordable?
Well, that depends on to the band.
But
this goes back to this goes back to the conversations I've been having with more musicians, and more people are finally starting to get this. A lot of us in this town have been like, oh, I'm not in it for the money. I just do it for the music.
Right.
You just gave every venue owner and every booker the pass to not pay you, which means you're not profitable, which means you're not making money, which means you can't afford to pay a good producer to capture your fucking art on record. We need to stop doing this thing where we somehow feel like it's virtuous, and I think we're somehow like better because we're like, I'm not in it for the money. It's like, no, dude, you're not in it for the money. That's why you play guitar.
I think
you're not in it for the money, and that's why you play drums or sing. But the reason we put a band together and put an album out there and print merch is because we absolutely need to make money so we can play shows and keep venues profitable, because that's how the Urban Wildlife and Star Central and the Quest and all these other venues get shut down, because bands aren't profitable, and so fucking venues can't stay open.
Absolutely.
So it's this same thing we were going with the mental health thing. It's this cycle.
Yeah.
But it starts with us devaluing our own art.
First of all,
I'm in it for the art, not the money. Okay, well then I don't have to pay you.
No, the primary reason we do it is because we're fucking musicians. We're artists and we love it.
That's why we do it.
That's why we do it. However, the financial aspect of it can't just be thrown out the fucking window, because we don't live in that type of world.
We need to get paid, because if we don't get paid, we can't afford to put out a good product. If we can't afford to put out a good product, we will never draw. If we don't draw, venues won't be profitable, which means we won't have a place to play, which means we won't have crowds to play in front of, which means we won't be profitable.
Residual cycle.
Can I tell you my wish? I'm going to tell you my wish.
It starts with us. No, I need to get paid.
Here's my wish.
I got 150 people that paid $15 per ticket. Do that math, motherfucker. Pay me.
No.
Pay me.
Okay.
Those people paid draws to come through, and you made money on the bar. Pay me. Pay my band. We brought 150 people at $15 a head. Pay me. Don't tell me you broke even. You sold all that booze at $20 a head. So do that math, because that's minimum $20, if not $40. Do that math. That's how the business works.
Right.
Stop saying we're in it for the fucking music, because all we're doing is giving venue owners, bookers, and promoters a pass.
Right.
Yeah, everyone knows you're in it for the music. You wouldn't have gone this far putting a band together if they
exactly.
Right.
You
that's already
if you're not in it for the music, you don't make it. Thank you. That's a. I've been beating around this bush for a long time. That is the fucking truth. That's the fucking truth. If you don't love the music, you ain't making it through rehearsals and recording an album.
You don't need to tell people that.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
No.
If you're just there because you're gonna know who those people are right away.
Right. The motherfuckers who make it.
I can't make it to practice.
The dudes who make it to the first local show are in it for the music. And some money or fame or pussy or something else. But it's not just the music. The music is what kept you from quitting this whole time. That's what we're talking about.
That's your initial passion.
Your
if you can do it for as long as you can,
exactly.
you can't do it in not the world we live in. that it revolves around us being financially lucrative?
It depends on the band, dude. Some bands in this town can't afford anything.
No.
They're literally trying to record. They're great musicians. They don't have any money.
That is us. Because
whether you're a kid and you're broke and you're working at Burger King for $14 an hour, but you're paying fucking $650 a month to rent a room plus utilities in Minneapolis, you're broke. Or maybe you make $30 an hour, but you got 2 kids plus a crazy amount of health insurance and a mortgage. You're fucking broke. But then there's other guys in this town who are balling out of control, who will pay you $150 an hour to do the exact.
Yes.
Everything in this town is relative. The problem is guys like us pay out of pocket.
Yes.
That's the problem. Our music doesn't generate enough money for us to go, I'll pay you $150 an hour.
That's when it becomes residual.
My shit's exactly, because I'll pay you $150 an hour because my shit's going to be so dope. I'm going to make that money back times 10.
Right.
Easy.
But that's how Hollywood works. That's how Nashville works. That's how everywhere else works.
So how do we make it work? And this is a very important conversation for the entire local scene.
Stop saying you're in it for the music. That's the first and foremost.
Yeah. It's the mentality then.
That's straight up. That's just the first step. Stop saying I don't do it for the money. Stop saying that.
We got to stop shaming ourselves because we need to make money doing
exactly. Because
everyone needs to stop shaming themselves about that.
Because if every musician in this town can make a minimum of $40,000 a year doing music,
beautiful. We're gonna blow this scene up if that could happen.
Not only that, but now you don't need to worry about a full-time job as much. Now that's more time you can dedicate towards being a great musician.
And what's that gonna happen? That's
positive feedback growth.
Dude, that's gonna grow even more.
That's a positive feedback loop with infinite levels of growth. But we've somehow done the reverse negative feedback loop. Whereas what we've done is we've gone, no, I love this and I'm okay with not making any money because this is what makes me happy. No, we make other people happy as well. And other people are paying money to come see us play, and we let other people
We're producing something of value
that money
to people. Whether it's fans coming in or the venues.
And that's true with Spotify and iTunes, not getting paid fair for streams. It's all of it. And that's why we never stop fighting for money.
It's a lot of hard work.
That's why we never stop fighting for money in this industry. That's why BMI exists. That's why ASCAP exists. Because motherfuckers in the music industry will take your art, they will make money on it, and not give you your fair fucking share. Stop allowing them to do that. Period.
I truly believe.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get all gangster on them motherfuckers.
No, I mean,
it's an important message to have. I'm sure you'll have it a few more times.
I'll fight some motherfuckers. Because somebody actually had the balls to tell me in different internet groups and different chat rooms and shit.
Yeah.
Why should you get paid for the song you wrote? You don't actually own anything more than the instrument you wrote it on. I was like, fuck you. I will fight you to death in the streets. And they were like,
anything else besides music.
They went on. And I'm like, y'all have never worked. Yeah. Like, you've never written a song.
Why should you get paid for that bread you baked? Why should you get paid for the brick you laid?
Exactly.
Why should you get paid for the house you built?
Yeah. But those are just your physical activities. You should get paid for the recording, but not the residuals from it. It's like, why not? Why should somebody else make $1 million putting my song in a movie, but it's my fucking song? I'm the one who put my heart in. See what I'm getting at here?
Okay.
It's that same scaled back version, but but at that level, nobody argues. Everyone goes, no, he wrote the song. You made $1 billion. You owe him $1 million. That's how royalties work. That's what ASCAP and BMI are for. This is what royalties are.
Yeah.
But on the local scene, suddenly it's like, oh, I'll come play for your 500 people, but I'm not going to get paid, even though I'm going to get all your fans to your regular attendees to have a lot of fun and buy twice as much alcohol as they normally do.
Bro.
You're not going to pay me a dime because it's exposure.
And this isn't new to all the experienced musicians have been doing it for decades.
Decades.
Well,
this isn't new.
This is a
70-year-old argument.
Bear with us, okay?
This is a 70-year-old argument.
This is a conversation of artists. You know, I think this is painters. This is graphic designers. This is musicians.
100%.
This is architects. This is, you know, I have a really hard time with this. I really do. I struggle a great deal because whenever you're grabbing a paintbrush, dipping it in paint, and putting it on canvas, right? That is your stroke of vulnerability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you hit a drum, right? Like, and you're working with a group of people, and you're taking that art form and then collaborating, right? That is art. That is an emotion. That is a feeling that you can't. I know for me, like, I can't express what that feeling does for me. I can't. I don't know what that is. I can't equate that to a dollar sign.
Can't put it into words.
At times I struggle.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. So what is art at that point? Because like my roommate, my buddy asked me a question. He goes, if an AI can create a piece of music that is indistinguishable from it versus a human, is it still art?
No,
and I finally came up with an answer.
I'm understanding where you're coming from with the whole.
I don't understand that.
And I finally came up with an answer on it, and the answer is no, it's not art, because art starts with two things. It starts with inspiration. Mm-hmm. I have to be inspired to make it in the first place. You can't just tell me, hey, A, C, and G.
Yeah.
Create a hit song. There's 1,000 hit songs created on A, C, and G. I need to be inspired by the emotions created by hearing those chords.
Let me ask you
in
this,
order
then.
to do that. And number two, real art is in the replication for me. This is just my stupid definition, right? So not only do you have to be inspired to create it in the first place, but it's in the replication and performance of that art.
I think that.
So if I know my own song, like you just said, every time I hit that snare drum, this is what really hit me on this. If I feel like in a recording, mid-track, I hit that last snare drum a little weak, the next bar, I can compensate.
Sure. Okay.
It's a very human.
Very, and it's reactionary within that performance. So I might do it one way on record, but do it a slightly, and it might just be velocity. I might just hit that snare drum way harder live in that same part. But that's art. It's the it's the humanity of the imperfections during the creation, inspiration, and recreation. That's what art is, which can only be created by a human.
I do want to share this with you. As I've programmed most of the Dreams Aside drums, a lot of those drums are me in a room with my guitar, feeling how I'm feeling, and I just use those drums in conversation with our drummer to create the songs.
That program is nothing more than an instrument.
That's all it is
that you're using at that point.
That is exactly it.
So no one's saying that your drums aren't art.
No, like,
no one's saying that in this argument.
No.
But if you were to program, which Logic does do, and I've done, if you were to program in Logic and you go grab Kyle, an AI drummer,
I won't do that,
and you get it's actually way more organic, believe it or not, and you set parameters for him to work within. Because he has a style, and you can change his drum kit and the type of way he plays and approaches, and you can set him to follow the rhythm of a guitar track if you want, or let him improvise. You can change that setting bar for bar.
Are you saying you can
this
tell
is all
the AI
within,
to do
yes, this is all within Logic. This is all within Logic, and I've done it. And I'm telling you, it is the most humanized version of programmed drums I've ever done in my life.
That freaks me out a little bit.
It is fucking kind of dope. It's kind of fucking dope.
You want to know what's silly as fuck? Defending Silence, Heavy, was all done.
Yeah.
Logic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you use these AI, but here's my question.
Fracture.
Right? Now
we're talking waiting.
I already have my answer for this.
Reflections.
My answer is going to defend you and back you up.
Yeah.
Who's the artist? Is it me? Is it Kyle, the AI drummer, or is it Apple?
Well, I don't know.
Who made the program?
Who made the program?
Who's the artist? It's me, motherfucker. Well, because I'm the one who wrote the fucking guitar riff, and I'm the fucking one who told Kyle what to fucking play.
Yeah.
But I was inspired by the emotion.
Yeah, the program is just
Who's watching right now?
Who's
even watching this
I
shit?
get the program was
No
just
one's
the
watching this.
was the instrument
Right.
that you utilized, that the human utilized.
Yep.
Which is
Now,
why
the difference is
it does support the
it
programming
backs
of
up what
drums.
he's saying, but
because he's still the artist.
But what we're saying,
Yeah.
Cloth
he's
and
using
I,
a different instrument than the actual physical drum.
exactly.
Right.
So what Cloth and I are saying is, we get that, but if you were to give another musician, just like if he were to write all your vocal parts for you,
Right.
okay, cool. Maybe he's even better at writing lyrics and melodies. But you still have to perform them. So why doesn't Justin just go sing them then? He wrote it. He wrote the lyrics. He wrote the melodies.
No.
Why doesn't? Because your voice,
Bro,
is the instrument.
here's the answer to your question.
So my snare stroke is the
So many
instrument.
cool points to
You
bring
see what
up
I'm
with
saying
you just
here?
bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go
You
ahead,
see what
go
I'm
ahead.
saying?
Yeah, I get it.
He could write all your
Here's the
melodies
cool-
and lyrics.
I'm just gonna
But we still
put
have
this
Jerry
short
sing
point.
'em.
Right. I'm just gonna put this,
I love it.
this short point
hit
out
it,
there
Jerry.
because
Make a long point. Make a long point.
the organics of any band is never going to be identical to the next.
No, it won't.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
It won't. That guitar string
you
will
name
never
any
be
band-
strung the way it did when I recorded it.
Let's pretend Justin writes all the lyrics and melodies. Why does Jerry sing them on record then?
Doesn't fucking like
Because it's your
just-
voice.
No.
It's called voicing.
Yes.
It's your voice.
And there are some bands that probably
you
do
can-
that.
So you can program drums, and I could play them exactly, and it's still gonna sound like a real drummer. Because
Yeah.
it's a human doing it. It's the
sure.
same reason we
It's a
don't have
human
Siri sing our
perspective.
songs.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what
understandable.
You see what I'm
is-
getting at?
like, bro, like
Auto-tune exists. I'm pretty sure somebody could
You
figure
will
out a way to
never fucking
program
use in
Siri
this band.
on Auto-tune. If you wanted
No.
to, you could program Siri on Auto-tune and get her to sing a song for you. So why don't you just do it? Because the notes are the same. No, everything's identical. No, bitch, it's not. Because I bent this note here because
yes.
I felt pain when I sang
There's
this
something
note.
very integral and very very
was
micro.
Human. The word is human.
Well, yeah, but
So
look,
where I started with this question is,
Damn.
if an
I
AI
am taking this beer out.
If
It's so good.
it is really good, isn't it? If an
It's
AI can
delicious.
create art indistinguishable from people, is it still art? My answer is no.
No,
No.
Because
I
it
agree.
wasn't
No.
inspired
I don't-
by anything.
I don't think any. Yes,
No.
I agree, and I don't think anyone's ever going to disagree with
No.
that if you're human.
Even if you can't tell,
dude, watching
it's still not art.
Listen,
It's an AI repainting the Mona Lisa.
watching John Bonham play.
Oh fucking hell! Boom 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 boom. Kata, boom, boom,
Oh.
boom, 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 kata. That's fucking
There
art.
is
Shit
nothing.
faced out of his mind.
There is nothing better than
Blackout drunk, can barely see
that.
his
But
snare drum.
Hang on.
Lays down.
Nowadays-
what's that fucking song I'm thinking of? You guys know the
nowadays-
story.
This guy.
Everyone agrees with us, by the way. No
Now-
one's disagreeing. No one's like, you
nowadays-
guys are drunk. Everyone's
Well-
like, nope, I agree.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's because we. Come on.
Because we're speaking fucking truth.
You can't deny
I
truth.
agree.
When you start trying to deny truth, you kind of feel weird. This
Yeah,
is
right.
why. This is why the liars of the world and the politicians that lie are like. You look at them.
I'm not
they
gonna
have to
lie.
be actors, right?
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had a fucking $500,000 budget to go in studio and
Don't we
play a JCM 800 fucking amp that was set up by fucking the best artists from that time. A tube amp, right? Like, I wish I had that kick drum from
The John Bonham 28-inch
John
kick
Bonham.
drum.
Yeah, I wish that drum sound is the best drum sound ever.
It's iconic. That's for damn sure.
However, we have to do what's realistic, right? Can you take what you have to work with and make it sound professional? The answer to that question is yes. We've created technology that allows us the availability to do things nowadays that we couldn't do before, and we have to, as musicians, say what's realistic, what's not realistic, what's within.
And a lot of that is just simply mixers. Like, anybody
I agree.
can go grab a $400 Scarlett 18i8 but it has 4 XLR inputs. How are you going to record a whole drum set with that? Not easily. You can be done. But to
hire an engineer to cut.
But I'm going to back you up, though. I'm gonna defend your point. Technology is becoming affordable enough with the know-how and the right team. You can grab this motherfucker for $1,000, the Zoom L20 or several similar things for $1,000, and I got 20 XLR inputs. I can record an entire band now. Problem is, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a producer. So we need a cloth. We need a Wally to not only come in and help, but to spread the knowledge. So guys like us can start recording high quality drums. There's plenty of drummers.
Can help educate.
There's plenty of drummers in this town. And there's plenty of guys like me who are like, hey, dude, you got a track? Fucking shoot me the song and I'll drop some drums to it. But then I send you drums and you can't make them sound good. No. So you're like, oh, we'll just program what he wrote.
See,
boom.
That's
soul
not,
lost. Now it's not even me.
That's not where produce drums.
That's just our argument though. Like I could send you a drum track, but you can't make them sound good. Yep. So you're like, well, we'll just reprogram them. And
that's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to eliminate, right?
Every beat identical, but now my soul is no longer in that recording.
They fucking can.
It's been machined. It can, but it's not something that's regularly done. There's very few people that pull in emergent. There's very few people that put the time and effort into program drums to where you really honestly probably can't tell. They just sound like really perfectly recorded high studio drums. Most people don't do that. Most people take the lazy route. They do what they got to do to make it sound tight. And then guys like me notice those are programmed drums. And then certain people, not me, but certain people immediately go, I'm not into it. That's the point we're making.
I'm going to say this.
Because there's so many more bands we'd be into with real drummers.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say
and
this.
Their records are unselling us before we get a chance to see them live.
I'm going to say this openly and honestly. Our drummer...
Jared, you're an idiot.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Would have been true, though.
No. I'm saying that our drummer has a huge influence on the shit that we produce.
But it's not him recording it. So it doesn't matter. I could literally send you my drums, and if you went, okay, cool, now let's program them. Those aren't my drums anymore. Those are a version of my drums done by a computer. It's like a computer redoing the Mona Lisa. It's what I just brought up with the AI.
I have to argue that.
I can't tell you you're wrong, but these are the questions being asked.
I have to argue that
these are things that are being noticed by other people, and they're immediately making us not into certain bands.
I accept that as the reality.
But I've also had people who aren't drum aficionados, who aren't heavily into the recording industry, that say, your drum sounds fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So here's the question.
Yeah.
Are we, and this goes back to another conversation we've had 1,000 times on this conversation. Dalton and I think we came up with an algorithm for like ultimate, true, measurable success in this industry. You got to sell some shit, whether it's records, merchandise, live tickets to your whatever. You got to have some sort of sales. And then there's an algorithm. And I'm probably going to say this wrong, but it's some version of like mutual respect from other musicians, okay, times sales, equals actual talent and success. So like, for example, there's a ton of bands out there that every musician on the planet is like, those guys are great, but they don't sell any records, they don't make any money, they're not successful. And then there's people out there like Britney Spears, where very few true blood musicians will be like, she's a great musician, but she sells a lot of records. Doesn't mean she's a great musician. But then you have bands like Metallica that almost every musician respects, bands like, and they sell records. Everyone agrees Metallica's a great band. Like, no one's going to be like, they suck.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't
you
like them.
You might criticize some of their songs and music, but at the same time, it's like, okay, though I criticize them, I can't deny that they've written good shit. They do sell.
Exactly.
And
the way I say it is, you don't like it, but don't tell me they're not good.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
After and we can do this with
you're gonna
any
look
number.
like an idiot if
We can
you
do
say
this with
something like
After
that.
the Burial. We can do this with Coheed and Cambria, Pantera, Jimi Hendrix, Van Halen, Pink Floyd, Britney Spears. Any artist you can look at that way and go, oh no, that does make sense when you look at it like this. So selling records doesn't equal talent or art, but not selling records also doesn't equal not being talented or not creating art.
I think it should be put
But when
into
you
practice.
combine those two, everybody acknowledges that your shit's dope, right?
I'd put it in the practice.
See what I'm saying?
I definitely put it in practice. Because I mean, if we haven't tried this shit yet to even like analyze the results.
So
of it,
if there's a lot of bands out there right now putting out albums with programmed drummers on them, there's an entire segment of musicians that immediately dismiss them. Sometimes musicians are your greatest advocate because a musician will go tell all their non-musician friends why they need to understand why you're great.
And that's fine.
But if you're losing those people, it's one thing if you just genuinely can't afford it. It's another thing if there is an option on the table and you're just not doing it because this other way is easier. That's what Cloth and I are getting at.
It's not.
We think it is. We are quickly approaching a position where we can absolutely get real drummers on record, guys. But there's too many of us over the last 5 to 10 years that have been conditioned in this idea that no, it's too difficult. It's too difficult. Let's just program them. It sounds better. It doesn't fucking sound better.
It's not that it's too difficult.
It sounds tight.
It's not that it's too difficult.
It sounds tight and it sounds clean, but it also sounds sterile.
It's not.
Like you built a song in a lab. That's what it sounds like. And I'm not saying that about you guys. I'm saying this is the point we've been trying to make for months because certain guys like us can hear that shit.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are plenty of musicians that do go the
and then they come
route.
catch you live and they're like, man, you guys fucking crush live. Yeah, that means you don't crush on record. Let's get that sound that you crush live where people's souls are spoken to, and let's get that sound on record. That's what we're getting at.
But I think if you're doing the programming in conjunction with,
if he's not performing it, dude,
and that's
okay. So why don't I program your guitars?
Sure.
Let me just program all your guitars then. I'll get a guitar synth and I'll just program all the notes that you play.
Fine. If it's a good song, it's a good song.
You're lying right now. You know goddamn well
lying.
I can't bend that note in that computer the same way you can bend that note on purpose. Dude, you're bullshitting right now.
I wish I was.
You are bullshitting. I cannot program your guitar and capture Justin's soul on record. You're so full of shit.
No,
I am not going to program
say.
Justin's guitar with a guitar synth and capture your soul on record.
So you aren't
and your performance. It's going to be a version of the part you wrote.
Yes.
Please do.
You can't capture. Look, anyone that's going to write a record and record it and put it on like an album, these songs, with every single member of the band accepts this is what it is. We're finally satisfied with it. Boom. That version of your song will never change. Every time you play live, you're almost never going to play the exact sterile.
So I'm gonna
that's on the album.
That's exactly my point.
So
I'm gonna ask you.
Playing live is always gonna be. I mean, no two live shows are ever gonna be the same.
That's exactly my point, though.
Jared,
but the recording was never the same either. So you had to capture the best version of that.
I'm gonna
on
ask
record.
you a question.
And I believe that's up to the members that have established the band together.
I agree with that.
Jared.
And there's certain bands that definitely have to be written with programmed drums.
I'm going to ask you a
question.
But
I think there's too many bands defaulting to that.
They don't have to be, is what you're saying.
Lost Paradise?
Yeah, they're just defaulting to that.
Lost Paradise? Was I one of the guitar players on that recording?
I don't know. But I guarantee you none of them were synth programmed guitars. Somebody played guitars.
No.
So those solos are just a bunch of synth program MIDI sections.
I'm not going to tell you.
If they were, what would you say?
What would you say?
I'd say you're lying. Because that goes back to if an AI can create a piece of art indistinguishable from humans, is it still art?
My question asking,
and you guys just both agreed no.
Yeah.
I'm saying I can hear that a human recorded those guitar parts, so tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you program notes into a computer.
So weird.
Tell me you program notes into a computer, and those are all synth replicated AI guitar parts.
Look, all I'm saying.
Tell me I'm wrong.
All I'm saying.
You played guitar on that record. A human played guitar on that record. You asked me a question.
Well,
I'm answering it. Now tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay, let's play the next song. And let's play the next song.
No, answer.
Nope.
I answered your question. Answer mine. Am I correct or not? You asked me, are you playing guitar on that song? I said, I don't know, but a human is playing guitar on that song. Am I correct or wrong?
Yes.
Of course. Because I'm a fucking musician and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, let's play the next song.
We were never getting past that one.
No.
I mean, we got 3 musicians.
Yeah, 3 dudes, 1 cup.
Jesus.
Triple J.
Which one is this?
Oh no, we already played this one.
We already played this one.
Okay, let's turn that off. That's the one we just played. Right?
Yeah. So
the same
maybe
one.
this is the only one you have on there.
Oh, you know what I'm doing? Hold on.
I don't know.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Take our place. How
Leave. Are we live?
We're back live.
Oh, shit.
Justin's on FaceTime over here having his own party.
What up? What up?
This motherfucker's on a group FaceTime. He's got like 3 or 4 people in this bitch.
Well, you know, we just got to call and talk to people.
No, you actually don't.
Well, you have fun at work. Love you.
This motherfucker.
Okay, bye.
She just called you a cunt. She just literally called you a cunt. I hope
I don't
you know
think
that.
she did.
She said, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Well, because that's what we're practicing, dude.
Yeah.
That's also what you say to somebody when you're calling them a cunt. See
that's
you
not nice, Jared.
NT. See you
Oh.
next Tuesday.
Yeah. See.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't think you caught
right.
that. I think she literally just called you a cunt, but she was at work, so she couldn't. So she goes, yeah, I'll see you
I don't
next
even know if
Tuesday.
she picked up on that.
I think that's exactly what she meant because she seems super smart.
We actually moved our practice to this coming Tuesday, so you'll probably.
Yeah, so you'd say, I'll see you on Tuesday. But see you next Tuesday when there's not a Tuesday in between is calling you a cunt. I'm telling
That's
you.
not nice.
Don't. Are you FaceTiming me right now?
I'm FaceTiming Brady.
Are you Instagramming me
Yes.
on? Dude, that's inappropriate.
You guys are getting drunk on beer and high on those cigarettes, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's getting high on the cigarettes.
I normally don't smoke much, but here I am.
I smoke ciggies all the time. They do nothing. Which is why I
Brady.
gotta quit them. That's my number one motive for quitting smoking cigarettes.
Are you
What is this? This is
nipple?
this is completely devolved into absolute nonsense. We got Justin FaceTiming people, and he's not even putting him on the
Listen.
microphone, so we're not even a part of this.
Hey, Brady talks. Brady, say
Up?
We're not high on cigarettes.
I guess.
We're not high on cigarettes. God damn it.
When the fuck did Brady start smoking?
Justin, you got to pull that back. There's an echo going through because he's obviously watching.
Brady, I love you. Bye.
Yeah, I hear
So we're
him
here.
watching on delay, coming back through his speaker, coming back through the mic. We got to end that because that'll create a feedback loop for the listeners. That shit'll fucking get annoying real quick. That's why when you call the radio, they're like, "Can you turn your radio down, please?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
so
save that for the special.
What were we
We'll save
talking
that
about?
for the next special?
We're done talking about like drums and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we
I think we
realize
beat
we're
the-
not going to
beat the
end that
horse.
conversation.
We beat the
We're not
horse
going
on
to come
that.
to a resolution. But I do think there's a compromise there, which we need to keep having that conversation over time. We're just not going to arrive to the conclusion tonight. I think it's going to take guys like Wally and Cloth coming into town, sitting on the podcast, talking about a method, pricing that's affordable to people, and then we
Right.
need to show an example of what they're talking about, and then we can
That'll
move
have
forward.
the most effect.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
a lot of bands need to see that.
100%.
It's a universal conversation.
And next time, and I'll have Wally on again soon. I'll make it a point now that we've had this conversation. And when Wally comes on, we'll pick tracks that he's produced. And if we're lucky, maybe we can find the original tracks that were sent to him versus what he put out on record. And you guys can hear the
Compare it.
difference.
Right.
Like, no, this is like, I don't need you to be elite. Oh, you flubbed one kick? I can fix that.
Well,
That kind of shit. Like, oh, your preamps aren't dope? Don't worry about it. I only need to know
Right.
what you're playing because I'm going to sound replace it all. Or I'm going to search frequencies to find this thing you're doing. I'm telling you, dude, I don't have enough experience to explain it, but this man works magic.
no,
And he's definitely not
here's
the
the
only
thing.
one doing it.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Wally's a cool cat. I mean,
Here's the thing. Wally is by far one of the best,
Wally will ruin your life.
if not the best.
Wally will
music.
ruin your life.
what does that
No.
mean?
No,
Because
no.
he'll show you what's actually possible.
yeah.
And then you'll be like, okay, dope. And then you'll try to do that and you won't be able to.
here's
And you'll just be like,
what I'll tell you about Wally.
it'll ruin your life.
No, I think
Unless he believes in you and
I
is
think-
willing to cut you a deal.
no, because I've worked with him. I've worked with him.
Yeah, but that's because he likes you and he respects you
I
and he
love
wants to
Wally.
work with you.
Wally's-
But if you ain't shit and you want Wally to work his magic and he doesn't know you or he's not into your shit, he's going to charge you money. He'll still work that magic, but you ain't getting it for cheap
Right.
or free.
But
you and me and people that he knows, respects, loves, and he wants to be a part of those projects, he will do things at a reasonable cost.
Listen.
We talked about this before the podcast. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say it again out loud, but
I think what I want to say here is as dreams aside, I put together a handful of songs.
I think you guys have put together a solid EP demo.
I think the music that we have
I think there's
written,
bands in this town that have put out LPs, like as a major release, that don't sound as good as this thing you've put out.
And that's what I'm excited about. That's what dreams aside, this work, this band, these people, is a collection of musicians who have worked really hard getting their craft. Oh, geez. That's cabbage, the devil's lettuce. Oh, Jeremy.
We would never smoke illegal drugs on this podcast.
Here's what I would say.
We are not down with that.
Is we have worked insanely hard at creating songs that are exciting to us, right? And with that being said, with us writing music that is exciting to us, we just want to share that with you.
That's what I think is the most important thing is,
That's
you
it.
writing music that you want to listen to?
That is
And
it.
if you can honestly say yes to that, then you get a thumbs up from me, okay? Whether I like it or not, and I do like your music. I'm not saying I don't.
Yeah.
But in the Jared world of how I evaluate music, number one, whether I like it or not is irrelevant. Okay, that's first and foremost. Number two, and I do this in order, whether I like it or not, and this, you should be thinking this too as the listeners, whether you like it or not, so I'm going to replace you with me or I, so whether I like it or not is irrelevant.
Right.
If you as the creator are creating a product, whether it's a product like a podcast or a product like a fucking music album or a painting, I don't care.
Yeah.
If it's a product that you like, then your only job is to find whatever number you need out of 8 billion people that you mentioned earlier to buy your shit. So that goes back to what I said back in the day. It's 1 out of 333. Before the internet existed, if you sold 1 million records, you were the biggest thing since sliced bread. There's 333 million Americans in this country. That's 1 out of every 333 people. Now, since the internet has existed, if you're able to sell like 100,000 records, you're the biggest thing since sliced bread, because that's physical copies. Right. But let's just pretend it's still 1 million. Can your band sell 1 record if I gave you an audience of 333 people? Are you going to sell 1 record?
Yeah.
You're goddamn right you're going to sell 1 record. So now the trick is, how do I get you in front of 333 new people every night? See what I'm saying? See what I'm getting at here? That's called the fucking internet. That's called find your find your 1 in 333. That's find 1 in 333. You have 8 billion people to choose from. Find 1 in 333 out of 8 billion, and you will be a success. You will pay your bills.
I've told these guys
the numbers are that simple. I swear to God, it's that fucking simple. Chunk it down, man. 1 out of 333 people.
And I was telling these guys,
that's all you need to do, man.
I was telling these guys, regardless of who likes your music or doesn't like your music, You never need 100% of the market share to be successful.
Not even close.
Don't even not even half.
What if
not
you
even a
could
quarter.
What if you could get 10,000 subscribers to your Patreon that give you $3 a month? There's 8 billion
this
people
goes
on the
to
planet. Are you telling
everyone
me
in
you
the
can't-
world that wants to be successful
There's
this way.
8 billion people on the planet.
There's enough for
You're
everyone to
telling
be
me-
successful.
You're telling me you can't get 10,000 out of 8 billion
I
to
think-
give you $3 a month?
Here's
That's
how-
30 grand a month.
Here's how I
Don't
think of
tell
it.
me you can't make money doing this anymore. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Here's how I
We
think
just
of it.
need to
you
know how to
gotta
lever
find
it.
your 1 out of 333,
and
that's a
everyone
low
listening to
number.
this, everyone can do this.
Everyone can
and
do
there's
this.
enough room for even like 100,000 more people to do this. That's how
Exactly.
many people are in the world.
That's actually my overall point. Is it's not a competition.
No, not
But-
anymore.
Because not
maybe
everybody
it never
likes
really
Dreams
was, but-
Aside. Not
I'm gonna-
everybody likes the rivalry. Not everybody
No.
likes Metallica.
Right.
Not everybody
No.
likes Megadeth. Not everybody likes Bruno Mars.
Post Malone.
All you got to do is find 1 out of 333. There's enough bands and enough fans
And
to
enough
go
people,
around.
Yeah,
But
for
you
everyone
have
to
to
be
present-
successful. Yeah.
Thank you. You have to present enough value to make people want to actually donate that money and that time
Jeff.
and that energy.
Jeff, I love you.
Beautiful.
That's the hardest
Beautiful.
thing to accomplish. Make
But I mean,
your
if it's a goal you keep going
work.
for,
Here's what I'm
time
going to
and
tell
money.
you, man. I'm going to quote Dave Grohl. He's one of my mentors. I've never met him.
You know him personally?
No.
He keeps-
Hey,
he keeps
I'll argue
talking
you
about
don't need
Dave
to know
Grohl.
your mentors
But-
personal to
but
put them to be your
no,
mentors.
I know. I'm
You
just
don't
giving
know.
him shit because he keeps bringing up Dave Grohl. Like,
Oh, yeah.
No, man.
Well, hey,
I'm just fucking with you, dude. I'm
Hey.
just
You
fucking
don't
with
fucking
you.
need
I'm
to
not
know
making
him.
fun of you. I'm just fucking with you.
I know.
There's a big
You're
difference.
always messing with me.
Yeah, because I
Always.
love you. If I wasn't messing with you, it's because I don't like you.
Here's
The
how
more
I say
fuck with you, the more I love you and respect you. I hope you guys know that.
Here's a quote that I learned from Dave Grohl.
The more I
right?
derail this conversation,
I know.
the more I love you.
It's fine.
is there a podcast you don't derail?
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you.
Nope.
I'm going to quote Dave Grohl on this one.
Not one.
Just write that 5 songs.
And by the way, you should just start saying yes. Oh,
Yeah.
you know him personally? You should be like, yep,
Yes.
he's my boy.
Yep. He's my guy.
I got him on speed dial. Just lead
Let me
into
give him
it.
a call.
Yep. Let's call him right now and then
Listen,
call
man.
someone else and then just hopefully it goes to voicemail and you can be like, oh, he's not available.
Listen, man. Just write the 5 best songs you have. Record them.
And
Put
then
'em-
throw them away.
No.
No, I say throw them away and,
And
then
then-
record 5 new songs.
No.
No, I'm serious about this. Record.
That's
What's the
fine.
psychology
Are you
behind
talking
that?
at the beginning? Are you talking about at the beginning or just in
No.
general?
I'm talking about in general.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about at
Record
the
and
beginning.
So by
Right,
the
the
time you
5
throw away 10 million songs,
Yeah.
those last 5,
Yeah.
boom.
Those
Yeah.
last 5.
That's
just,
what because you got to write a lot of
record-
shitty songs to write
Yeah.
one good song.
Dude,
so
I've
throw
written a
out the
lot of.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
written-
sorry. No, I jumped
I've
in.
written a lot of.
I'm officially
shitty,
buzzed, and now I'm not listening.
I've written a lot of shitty songs in my time.
No, I apologize, Justin. Sincerely, I did not mean to do that.
Write the 5 best songs you have, and just fucking play them, man. Go play them in front of people. Record them the best way that you know how.
Honestly, yeah, don't delete them anymore.
No.
Just put them out.
Just put them out.
Well, you never know what
Yeah,
they're gonna, what clout
exactly.
they're going to
You
develop.
never know.
Exactly.
You have
right?
no idea.
Nowadays-
you can hit your own songs, and all of a sudden, 10 million people like. How the fuck did that happen?
I just
Dude, that's a yeah.
truly
no, you're right.
believe it.
Nowadays, don't even delete them. Just
Don't
put them out.
delete 'em. Put 'em
Record
out.
5 songs and just put them out.
record.
You have nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose.
Be Lord. Be Lord.
No,
Like create a name,
Just-
a personality.
listen.
To where you have nothing to lose. Jerry
Listen.
Achu can go to his day job every day, and he put 5 of the worst songs
I'm gonna
out
tell-
on the internet, but no one knows it's him.
I'm gonna tell
and
you
then
this
guess
right
what?
now.
The next 5 songs, they're not the worst,
If
and
you,
the next 5 songs, they're not even close to the worst. But that next
Right.
5 songs,
At least you're trying.
Suddenly, there's a hit.
at least
So
you're trying.
you paid all your dues, faced all that shame, and no one knew it was you.
At least you're
That's
trying.
not the world we grew up in. We grew up in a world where you
No.
write songs, you get on stage, you put your soul. You're there. It's you. You wrote them. If they're bad, you embarrass yourself. You never get another gig again. But online, you don't have to do that.
Put them out.
Put them out. You sold me. You sold me. You
Put
changed
'em
my mind.
out.
You changed my mind, Justin.
If you believe in it and you are sold on it and you care
Program
about
drums, be damned. Put them out.
Put them out.
And then find a good drummer. And
No!
record a new album with a good drummer.
We have a good drummer.
Okay, you had me until then. That's where you just lost me.
No.
Well, I feel like Jared's
just said no too many
Jared's
times in
the
a row.
organic guy who he needs to see it. So
I want the soul. I want the love. I want to be in a relationship with a band member. I want to be in a bonding experience
have
where
that.
we're putting our literal blood, sweat, and tears. I want to see. I
Dreams
want to see
aside-
my drummer be me because I was
Dreams
a drummer.
aside-
I want to see my drummer bleed on his fucking snare drum. I want to see
do.
my guitar player
I do.
rip the fingertips off of his hand.
I do.
I
And
want
we
to
do.
see my vocalist go, hey guys, I got to bow out for the rest of this set or I'm going to blow my voice.
And we do.
That's what I want.
That's what we do.
But there's not a lot of bands that do that. And that's what we're
That's
getting
what
at.
we do.
We're not attacking Dreams Aside. We're attacking bands that don't do any of that, where they only record things in their own home, send tracks back and forth. There's no aha moments. Everything's programmed. Everything's perfect.
That's
Everything's
not-
pristine. They've never once done a rehearsal. We're not accusing you guys. Stop
Yeah.
being defensive. We're
I
generalizing.
ain't being defensive.
We're generalizing bands that do things like this. And they put out something that has an incredible potential to be breathtaking and earth-changing. But based on their own convenience, laziness, and ease of access, they end up rushing a subpar product
Right.
that lacks a full human element
Right.
of a full 4, 5, 6 band members, whatever you need. Now, if that's the only way you can start, so to defend you, if that's your budget, if that's your only means, you cannot find a drummer.
Find a way.
You're not a drummer, right? So I'm in the same boat. I haven't put out a record with programmed drums. You know what I did? Well, let's buy fucking $1,300 worth of gear to figure out how to mic up my drum set. That's what I did. Not saying everybody needs to think or act like me, but that's the route I took.
Yeah.
Some guys are like, you know what? I don't have $1,300.
Right.
I'm not a good drummer even if I do have $1,300. I live in fucking whatever random fucking Sheboygan, Wisconsin or Provo, Utah, and there aren't any good drummers anywhere near me. You
Jeff.
see what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
like
I
not
mean,
every and this
look,
is defending you guys. Not everyone has the option. But what Cloth and I are saying is we're in fucking Minneapolis and we have all the goddamn options and we need to start working together to uplift each other and make everyone else's projects great, whether we get paid for it or not at the beginning, so we can bring the value of what we're all doing up so high that we all unequivocally get paid. That's the end dream.
yeah, I will say it's like that mentality was it was pretty much
Because you ain't pulling
non-existent.
this shit in Nashville or L.A.
Yeah,
Motherfucker, pay me.
The mentality of having
That's
that
what it's like in
camaraderie
those two towns.
between bands was not the aspect
No.
like 10, 20 years ago.
No.
In the scene, it was like cutthroat. Oh, shit.
Shit. A lot of beer.
I literally missed the edge of my fucking that fucking thing's probably toast.
Oh no.
Dip it in rice and let it sit for a day.
Put it upside down. Just face it that way. I think.
That's toast.
Listen, I gotta tell you.
There's $200 for the podcast. Join the Patreon. Hold on, I got to chat for this. Join the Patreon. We just ruined our keyboard and it just cost me $200.
I think you just gotta.
Hey, then what do you have to lose? Dip it in rice and see if it fixes it. You have nothing to lose, Eddie. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, well,
just gotta find creative ways to do it. Like the guitar tones. Like, dude.
I mean,
I
look,
would've-
this type of conversation. I mean, every musician on the planet can chime in, and I guarantee there's going to be this pseudo war between each other.
Yeah,
I'm not in the position where it's like either way is wrong for the situation or the band. I'm
Correct.
going to leave it to the band. Because, I mean, I know excellent musicians that have all real players that still, like, will record shit, certain things digitally. And I know bands, like Jared says, that will never touch that. Yeah. So it's, it's...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, like, even us, I'm not saying that we won't do that. go all organic with awesome recording. I'm not saying that. I mean, just like how it kind of like started out with us. This was the most viable, and this was like the most reasonable,
creative.
Yeah, and that's the real point here. Is it's like we got to get something out. We got to get the ball rolling.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this town, there is an insane level of high-level musicians, but the ones that are dope are busy.
Yep.
So you can do what I've done and keep hitting the fucking pause button till the right guys come along. Or you could program your fucking drums.
Well, I mean, consider my situation.
Pick your fucking priority.
Dude,
get the record out or wait till the right people. I mean, what if I die? What if I die?
Dude.
Yeah,
then I will have never gotten this record out. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. I could
I
have
think
an
about that
aneurysm
shit
like
all
my
the
dad.
time.
I could have an
time.
aneurysm like my dad. Just be out in the garage, fixing the fucking lawnmower. Boom, keel over, have an aneurysm.
Yep.
Boom, life over.
Yep.
Those are the realities we live. So,
dude, my guitar tones on this album.
Get your art out there, even if it's not the perfect version of your art. I think that's I think
that's
the problem
lesson.
with me. I think why I resist this idea is because I've already put a lot of subpar versions of my art out there, and I've never once put a record out that I am truly proud of.
So you're going to be critical regardless.
And because the records I have put out are egregiously bad. So the Dying Euphoria record that I'm on, the drums started off. Jason Jacobson could not play to a fucking click track to save his goddamn life, which set up a literal template of sloppy guitar playing.
Okay.
Because the drums are sloppy.
I mean,
so there was no need to overproduce or make sure my vocals were perfect. So the Dying Euphoria record is a fucking shit show. One that I'm on. But by the time Joe got into the band, that shit's dope. That band sounds great all of a sudden. I can't be proud of that because my version of that band is a shit show. So I'm not willing.
So you're not satisfied with.
I'm not willing to do something like that with my own project now.
It's super. I get the super.
Yeah, because I'm like, I gotta get something out there that shows what I'm really capable of.
I think,
but on record, because I'm sick and tired of being the guy who fucking absolutely crushes on stage,
but representative,
no one can
accurately.
get that shit on record.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Because not everyone gets to see your band on stage.
Absolutely, man.
The vast majority of people are exposed to your music through your record on radio or the internet.
I can honestly
see what I'm getting at here.
I can honestly
I get where every point of view is coming from.
So do I program the drums and do another subpar record, but it's tight?
That's up to you.
Or do I step up my drum game while I'm trying to be a competent guitar player and perform two instruments on the same record?
This always comes down. I said it
I've chosen
10
the latter.
times already.
I've chosen the latter. I'm fucking playing these goddamn drums.
Yeah,
and that's you.
Well, yeah. And like I said,
exactly. That's me.
Yeah.
That's you.
But that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're just saying it's going to be preference. It's going to be preference to the individual in the band.
Yeah.
Exactly. And trying to get as many people into your shit as possible. So if you can do better than 1 in 333,
any song,
that's what we're getting at.
Any
can you do
song,
2? Can you do 3?
And I
can you do
say
10?
This.
Can you do 100 out of 333?
And I can say this 110% in confidence. Any song that we have,
I can't believe I just ruined my keyboard.
Sent out.
I'll never use that keyboard again.
Heavy, Defending Silence, all these songs that we're doing, I've never been more proud. And more proud of the musicians in this band. Like, they're fucking great. They're fucking great. And whether it's exactly them or not, their exact tone, their exact whatever does not matter. It represents the music that we're making 100%.
Yeah, and that's all that, honestly, at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is, are you proud of what you're putting out?
Fuck yeah. And you know what? I'll send any of our music to anybody.
Because I'll tell you what right now. If you start listening to criticism in the wrong way,
yeah,
and you start trying to
I
appease
already know
everyone.
what you're
No.
going at. Yep, I know what you're saying.
Bro, you're gonna create a bunch of
No,
bullshit.
man. What I know.
You're gonna create a bunch of bullshit that ain't nobody gonna be into, including yourself.
Here's what I know.
Like, you have to create something you love, and then find people that also love it. And like I said earlier, you got 8 billion people to choose
Right.
from.
You don't need 100% of the market.
Thank you.
Here's what I know, and I'm going to tell you this in 110% confidence.
The question is, are you doing a good job of finding?
Yeah, and that's
Those other
gonna
people.
be another like a challenge. But
Right
Like,
now.
are you just playing a random local show and expecting to blow up?
I'm going to say
Or
this.
are you seeking
No.
new fans in a new market through the internet and
Yes.
through YouTube and
Yes.
Facebook and Instagram
Yes.
and Twitter?
Yes.
you know, there's
Figure
many
it out,
there's
man.
many layers
Here's
of work.
what I'll tell
to
you.
be done.
Personal responsibility. Do your goddamn job. You're running your company.
I've said this a few times.
Don't blame everyone else because they're not into your shit.
Here's what
I'm
I'll
sure
tell
you heard
you.
that from many bands. Man.
Here's what I'll tell you is when I get in a room
Nobody
with
gets
him,
it.
is when I get in a room with him, and I get in a room with Brady, and I get in a room with Mike, and I get in a room with Mark. The feeling is infectious.
Yep.
It is unpenetrable.
Do you guys enjoy going to practice
Fuck.
or rehearsal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I mean, believe it or not, tonight was our rehearsal night, so we had to move it to Tuesday, as he was telling
Yeah.
his sister, because we
Because
wanted
you got to
this-
do the podcast tonight
we
because
gotta
it's
do
that
this
important.
podcast. Oh, it is actually
It
important.
is.
Yeah, this is just
See, I
another
gotta-
modality
do-
of.
did- I hope the viewers and listeners understand how I got them to totally buy into that
Oh,
bullshit.
give me,
Oh,
dude, give me a
Jesus.
break. No, but I'm saying it's important. It's important to us because it's exposure. Too.
Jeff Hendricks says he will be your 1 in 333.
I know.
That's one down. That's one down, boys. But for real though, that's a big deal.
I think
Yeah.
Like, and everybody, hopefully, everybody understands
I
that
think
they
the
play that
minute-
part, and that includes subbing to this podcast. Not a shameless plug, but same thing. Subbing to the podcast, fucking joining the Patreon, joining their Patreon. If you guys don't have a Patreon, you're short sighted. You
Yep.
guys need to have a Patreon now,
Yep.
right now, because even if you only make $100 a month, because you have 20 subscribers at $5 a month, that's still $100 a month that contributes to studio time, equipment, rehearsal space rentals, whatever.
Very much is a business.
Like, I am blown away by the amount of dope ass bands who are actually doing pretty fucking well, who've come on this podcast and they don't have a fucking Patreon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
that's next.
You got 30,000
next.
followers on your single Instagram account,
we don't.
and you don't have a Patreon? Are you fucking kidding?
The first
Dude,
thing,
I don't care what your bottom tier is. Charge $1.
the first thing,
100 people.
the first thing you need to do
That's $100 a
is you
month.
got to build your business, right? You got to build your business. You got to get the songs written. Got to get them recorded. You got to give people something to listen to. After you get that, then you got to build the marketing strategy behind all of those things, right? That's what we're here tonight. We're releasing 2 songs that were heard tonight that nobody will hear.
Should we play them again?
I mean, yes.
Because we only got 2, so we should play them again.
So
yeah, we can do that.
here's my thoughts, man. And I'm going to say this in 100% confidence and 100% love and joy for my band members every time.
Jeff also said, don't listen to Justin. He's just saying things to say them.
I know. Such a fucker.
Jeff,
It's not true.
That's so
is Jeff
funny,
giving you
though.
shit, dude?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Jeff's
though.
giving me shit.
That's so funny though, because
Hey,
I kind of
Jeff-
felt like
Jeff-
that mid spiel.
Jeff
In
is
one of
not
these
drunk
things-
tonight, aren't you?
Jeff-
But in one of these rants, because a couple of them have hit really hard for me, and I've been like, nope, you
Jeff.
changed my mind. But there was a couple of times where he was ranting where I was like,
Jeff.
this doesn't actually make any sense. And all of a sudden, I just read Jeff's
Yeah.
fucking comment. Don't
No.
listen to Justin. He
Jeff.
just says things to say them.
Jeff.
That made me feel so much better because I was actually afraid I was like confused and
Jeff.
stupid and like
No,
missed something.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's
Jeff,
the same way people call me an asshole.
Jeff, I will never call you pretty ever again. All right. Done.
Because from now on, you're gorgeous. Stop it.
No, I
You're
won't.
gorgeous.
Jeff,
You're gorgeous. Don't
I
listen
tell him
to
he's
Justin.
pretty every fucking other week that I'm at band
but you'll
practice.
never be called pretty again because you failed him. But I'm telling you right now, I know him because you're gorgeous.
At the end
Stop
of the
it.
day,
You're gorgeous, Jeff.
at the end of the day, I'm gonna stop this whole rant,
Okay.
this bullshit. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you find musicians that you love to play music with, to stand in a room with, to write music with, to create something together, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That's it. The rest of this stuff, the business, all of that shit, if you have that, if you're not willing to stop, if you're not willing to give up, every fucking moment you believe in what you're doing, which is everything that we've made up until now, if you have a collective group of people that believe in the same thing, you can take on the world, man.
Look,
you can take on the world.
You really can. In all seriousness, you really can. If you just have a group that believe in one thing and everyone's in one direction,
and you can bring
you can fucking change the world, man.
You can bring people along on that journey.
Yeah, and that's for a lot of people, that's a hard thing to even accomplish. That first step. You might have one or two people. Shit, we need this and this and this.
That is dreams.
How the fuck? I mean,
dude,
how we even got together is like strange.
That is Dreams Aside.
You know,
it's a refugee camp for a bunch of musicians that just fucking striked out left and right.
Bunch of refugee musicians.
Yeah,
well, Mark
bunch of fucking degenerate Cubans during Tony Montana's time.
We're a bunch of refugees who just said, I don't know.
Political refugees from other bands.
I don't know what it is about music, but I love it. And I love sharing these moments with you. Let's write music together.
We are musical refugees from other bands.
I know. It sounds weird.
And we
sounds
settled
corny.
here to make a better life.
We're going to ask you if
I'm making Jared super uncomfortable right now.
Actually, you're not making me uncomfortable. You're just inspiring me to riff on inappropriate jokes.
This particular 3-second segment of you with that accent, we're going to ask you if we can clip that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have
you guys can do whatever the fuck you want.
We are the refugees.
We are the musical.
We're gonna put that somewhere in the recording that you're not gonna know.
Okay, I'll give you a clean one. Let's retake it. I'll give you a clean one. Shut up. I gotta give you a clean one.
I
gotta give you a clean one. Here's the retake. I gotta give you a clean one. Shut up.
You're an idiot.
Do you want the clip or not?
The clip technically already exists, so
it's already there.
You just wanted to make a better one.
Yeah, I want to give you a clean one.
Okay, go.
We are musical refugees from other bands, and we have come to this land, and you're oppressing us in your camps.
Okay, we'll edit that as we see fit. But thank you.
Thank you.
That's actually a perfect clip. If you would have shut the fuck up and let me finish it clean, Jerry.
You did.
Wow.
God
You
damn
just
it,
finished
Jerry.
it. We are political refugees.
When we talk
from different countries.
We are. I said musical refugees from other bands.
When we talk
and
about
we come
this,
to your lands, and you oppress us with your camps. But if you guys don't understand the rhythm, I feel like I'm in a Rick and Morty episode.
I feel like yes.
I don't even know. For the first time on this podcast, I feel like Rick instead of fucking Morty.
My Morty?
No. In fact, no one's Morty.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, it's
usually you're just one or
actually,
the other. But
here's the thing is, ironically, no one wants to be Jerry in the Rick and Morty analogy. Because Jerry is not Jerry Achu in the Rick and Morty analogy. Jerry is... Watch
Jerry.
Rick and Morty. You don't want to be Jerry. It's a bad analogy.
Ladies and
Too
gentlemen.
bad your name's Jerry in this situation.
Oh, there's actually Jerry in the show?
Yeah, and my dad's name is also Jerry, so I'm not talking
10
shit about
o'clock?
church. Yeah, we need to wrap this up. We're going to play these last two songs. These two songs again. We're going to play them one more time back to back.
All right.
We'll just hit them back to back.
And then,
if you guys want to check out Dreams Aside, go to their website. The link is in the description. dreamsaside.online.
Yes.
Not anything else.
Oh.
.online.
Hey, where can you find Dreams Aside?
Online.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
All right.
Dude, we matched nice on that one. Finally. It only took all podcasts.
Get out of here.
It only took...
You guys are idiots. You're idiots.
No, that was brilliant. No, but it's also... We've been down... You guys, listen. I know a bunch of you are going to be like, no, keep going. You're just getting into the good stuff. Listen, I'm going to read these last few comments. We're going to play these last 2 songs, or we're going to play these 2 songs again. But listen, it's like fucking 95 degrees in Minnesota right now. We're getting smoke from the fucking Canadian wildfires. Like, even in this beautifully
bonfire,
even in this beautifully climate controlled house that we do this in, it's actually getting warm down here, and I'm starting to sweat. We got a fan under the table to keep us cool.
Oh man,
we're not going to be able to keep doing this much longer. Like, I'm getting hot. If I'm getting hot, they're getting hot. If we're getting hot, that means we're getting uncomfortable, which means we're ending the podcast. I'm going to read these last few podcast comments in the live chat. Devil's Lettuce. Jeff Hendricks is going to be your 1 in 333. Jeremy Blake says C is above comments. Where is it? Where wasn't there a band called See You Next Tuesday?
Jesus. Blake.
That goes back to, no, for real, your sister called you a cunt. Just so you know.
She didn't.
You're the only one not in on that joke. All right, guys, we're going to play these last 2 songs. Everyone needs to explain, and because you watched and you listened, she didn't say I'll see you on Tuesday. She didn't say I'll see you Tuesday. She specifically said I'll see you next Tuesday. Justin's sister definitely called him a cunt. We need you to settle this in the chat as we play these last 2 comments. Everyone loves Justin. He's just taking it personally. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, you'll see her on this coming Tuesday, dude, so you can discuss it with her then.
That's a great point.
Let's play the last 2 songs here.
And guess what, guys? We won't see you next Tuesday. We won't see you next Thursday. Episode 100 coming up next Saturday. Not this Saturday. Not on Saturday. See how I did that?
Next Saturday.
It's going to be next Saturday, August 7th, episode 100. I am bringing in the 4 Dorkmen of the Apocalypse. This is going to be Greg Chilton from Ritual Madness Podcast. I'm bringing in Joey Moya from Sweaty Pedals on Twitch. I am bringing in John Wheeler from the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge. It's going to be the 4 of us right here, Saturday, August 7th. I hope all of you join us and have fun with us. We are going to have a huge celebration. I'm going to try to get all of them to do mushrooms on the podcast. No one's going to do it except me. But it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be episode 100. And honestly, the fact that we've gotten this far, thank you guys so much. Honestly, to you two, specifically the 2 of you, to come back and do episode 99 with me. Jerry, I appreciate you finally coming on. I asked you to come on a couple times before.
And I said no.
And you didn't even say no. You didn't even say no. You didn't even acknowledge the request. I asked you once online, and I got stuck on red.
As much as he picks on me.
I got stuck on red for 3 months. Then I asked him in person, and you know what he did? I went, hey, Jerry, you should come on my podcast. Anytime you want, I'd love to have you on. And you know what he did? He went like this. He just turned the other direction, like I wasn't even speaking to him. He just ignored me, like I didn't exist as a human being. Justin, you came on once before. You were one of the OG guests at the beginning. Thank you so much for coming back on. This is episode 99. This is a truly special night. It really was, you guys. It went off the rails 30 seconds into the motherfucker. But it's exactly what I hoped for. Because we got to plug your band. We're going to plug it again 2 more times. We got to do all the things. We got to have deep conversations. We got to let you guys show people who you are as human beings. You're not just band members. You're not just a guitar player and a drummer and a programmer and a producer. You're not just a vocalist and a singer. You're not just a lyrical writer and a songwriter. You guys are human beings, and you have thoughts and you have feelings and all of these things that so many people forget about. So thank you guys for being vulnerable, coming on, kicking it with me, getting drunk, having a good time. It's episode 99. There's a lot of bad shit going on, but we had a good time talking about some heavy shit. We had fun. We laughed.
Absolutely.
Nobody cried. We had a great time. Next Saturday, August 7th, it's episode 100. Tonight, because it's episode 99 and this is a very, very, very special night for us, we're going to play two more. It's not two more songs. We're going to replay the two songs we played earlier. We're going to play them back to back. That's how we're going to end the podcast. If you guys haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, go join the Patreon. My unemployment is running out soon, so y'all got to fucking start stepping up.
People appreciate honesty,
up,
right?
Step up. Let's all start paying each other and loving each other for everything that we're doing. Stop trying to get motherfuckers to do drum tracks for free. Stop trying to get producers to record your shit for free. And if you feel generous, maybe also subscribe to my Patreon and start contributing financially. But if not, then that's okay. Just hit the fucking red button for free. You don't pay shit. It still helps us. We're trying to monetize. And honestly, things are growing. We got big fucking plans, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I don't think anybody understands what the whole scene, not just me. I got some fucking big plans, some heavyweight swing plans. But I've been talking. We've been doing this podcast for a long time now. It's a year. It's officially 1 year, you guys.
4
July
hours?
25th. July 25th was the first podcast. Point being, the whole scene has some big shit planned, and I'm fucking super excited for 2022.
Yeah.
It's only July, and I'm already talking about next year. Y'all don't even know. I'm super fucking pumped. Here's how we're going to fucking do this. We're ending up episode 99. We're wrapping up our first year.
Lost Paradise.
This is how we're going to do it. Lost Paradise into
Reflections.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Please hit like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You know what the fuck to do. All right. Here we go. Media Playa.
Sanctuary not worth having.
She's a little closer now, get higher when I think about it. She's a little closer now. I get higher. She's a little closer now. My hands in front that hard to be the man, to be the whore. You know what this hatching's for. This is what you think it was. Well, good luck, don't blow it up. I think you're broken another toy. Just don't call me your boy. Hey, I get the feeling that listening through the ceiling, trying to picture who we are and what we've done and just how far we're gonna take it tonight. We're gonna make it, we'll be alright.